fix the issue, which is Kaiser.
Oh boy.
That's Critter Stupid Rat.
I'm the biggest issue, always.
Critter stupid what?
That's the name of the... all my adjustments! No!
Oh, no.
What?
My adjustments didn't save. Which is probably what crashed the screen anyway.
What?
So you know what? Let's try and let's do this again. Let's take that risk.
Oh boy. Here we go.
Yeah.
Ugh.
This is where the fun begins. Okay.
I really gotta
scene in
put-
the dream.
I really gotta put Kara's feet back on.
You just gotta clip them back in. You know, if she was made from the same stuff as Bionicle action figures, that they'd be pretty on their type.
Man, Bionicles were so fucking cool, man.
I actually never
Yeah, they were.
got into them.
They're surprisingly niche. Which always baffled me because they are just, awesome.
Well, they're simultaneously niche but also incredibly popular at the same time.
Yeah, it's one of those weird properties.
Yeah.
All right, are we back? People back? Are we alive? Hello?
We have not crashed.
We are alive. We haven't crashed yet.
Pop out chat.
We never technically never mind. I was just never into them when they were popular.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The Bionicles.
It's not the...
Yeah, and to be fair, on my end, I liked watching the animations for them and stuff, but I only ever gotten the toys much later in the game, and that was because I had gotten one of them as a gift. During my elementary school graduation, and I just started collecting some.
I had the first 2 generations of it, and then also I think it was the Rakshi, I think they were called, which were the 3rd generation, the enemies that rounded out that the first major arc of the story. They were the main antagonists of the first movie. So
right, yeah.
And after that, I kind of fell out because I didn't like a lot of the designs that were coming out. They just didn't appeal to me in one way or the other. There were some neat things occasionally, but I just never hook on. It had a really good browser game, though. I need to go back and play that at some point. Anyway, hi everyone, welcome back. Sorry about being crashed there. We have lost about half the people. Hopefully they get over here.
Oh boy.
Also, the live chat's not showing up. Give it a minute. That'll appear. Testing. Make sure all the sound is good.
The unicorns broke Team Jacked stream, and thus the teddy bear revolt began. Yes.
Oh God.
We're having a grand old war here in the Team Jacked podcast.
Return of the Sith.
The
the
unicorns versus the teddy bears.
Dude. All I gotta say is, okay, the first thing that y'all gotta do in order to win this is that you gotta need some Zakus. Now, I know it's gonna be hard, okay, given y'all are soft and everything, but let me tell you, they will do wonders, okay?
Giant robots would make this better.
Yeah. You have to start this next paragraph, Raymond.
Milady!
Mr. Samlet tugged shyly on her stirrup. Ari looked down at him.
No quote. Take this! No, take this! He whispered. Just in case!
He drew a thin leather scabbard out of his sleeve and slipped it on the top of her boot.
It was your father. You know her father?!
Oh my God. What?
I'm sorry! No! What?
Dude, no, you can't. Also, how can you even fit that in there? I mean, I guess it's a leather scabbard, but what?
Ah! How are you so stupid? Unless you have brain damage. But that's everyone in this book.
Yep.
Dude, he's like the stupidest, yet somehow one of the more, I guess, semi-important characters, question mark. for
That's
some
you've
reason
described
in this
literally
world.
every single character in this,
Yeah.
except Lori.
Except Lori. She is just pointless.
Well, she no, I can't say that. Because
Spoiler question. Got
He
it.
said I came back at the right
Yeah.
time. It seems. Yep.
Kinda, yeah.
Debatable.
Yeah, that thing that I was about to talk about, that doesn't happen until book 4, so look forward to that. Actually, book 4 had, like, when I was a kid, book 4 was consistently my favorite book of the series. And I think that even though that it's lackluster today, it's still the most entertaining.
In a good way?
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Oh,
nice to
okay.
know.
Yeah, like it's not as epic as I remember it being when I was a little kid, but you know, I was a little kid. So everything seemed a lot grander back then, but it's still consistently the more entertaining of all of the rest of the books.
Teddy Bear Paladin, our greatest ally in this conflict, the Care Bears, our cultural siblings, gave us shelter in our darkest days under the unicorn rule. We're building a new mythology. Okay.
Dude,
we're just doing
god,
this.
we have new fucking lore. It has expanded.
If it weren't for the
This
copyright at hand, I would want an entire series of this.
Yes.
Yeah. Dude, this is Hasbro DLC, people.
I am in love with this new surprising development.
The crossover we never knew we wanted.
So, yeah, Samlet just gives her her father's dagger, and then because she sees this object, she suddenly has a vision of what her father looked like, and I think this is the only time that we ever get a description of any of her family members, from what I remember.
Wait, a tall man, broad-shouldered, his blonde head thrown back in laughter, his...
Oh my god.
Oh!
Well-shaped hand peared an apple.
Okay, it's a fine memory, but he's blonde?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Not the image
I guess.
had, but okay.
I'm assuming that she gets her hair color from her mother. Either that, or Aerie used to be blonde, but when she bonded with Sunchaser, her hair got magically dyed bronze to match his hair color.
Or she just turned...
That would actually be interesting.
That would be interesting, but like, so obviously they're not doing it. So no, more so it would just be, no, she just forgot and her hair is bronze now.
Yeah. I am essentially writing fanfiction that will be my last super chat tonight. I regret nothing.
You have nothing to regret.
Yeah. I don't
thing.
regret that either, because that is a great fanfiction.
Is
I love that fanfiction so much. It's great because it's both fanfiction for Unicorns of Balinor, but also fanfiction for Teddy Bear Paladin's story. Double fanfiction, crossover fanfiction.
It's clearly it's the
Yeah.
TV show that Teddy Bear Paladin, like the toy, was marketed from.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
This is a Woody situation.
Mhm.
Absolutely, yep.
So we end the chapter with, she stared down at the scabbard, which was almost completely hidden by the top of her boot. She touched the ruby jewel concealed beneath her skirt. She set her jaw. She tapped the heel into Chase's side and rode to the head of the cart. She.
Wait.
Oh,
Wait,
okay,
hold
yeah,
on.
I didn't pick up on.
Wait.
I was actually thinking like, okay, wait, what do you mean almost hidden by the top of her boot? Like, as someone who wears a boot knife, boot knives are not comfy. And if you're not used to wearing one, anyway, that's just like, that's a nitpick. But yeah, get some better descriptors, please. Tags.
Yeah,
Please.
like that was the whole reason why I highlighted this.
She.
An entire paragraph with nothing but cheese at the beginning of the sentence.
Bro, what in
Now, if
the
it were
hell?
cheese at the beginning of the sentence,
Cheese.
cheese stare down at the sky. It's cheese from frickin'
Foster's Home for
yeah.
Imaginary Friends.
So, chapter 8, we get a surprisingly difficult word for this book that is meant for 8 to 12-year-olds.
Oh, we leveled up.
Wait,
Yeah.
didn't we have perfunctory before?
No, I sent you that, remember? I screenshotted that to you.
Oh, right. Okay, I was like, I've seen this before. Like, we've had this.
Spoiled.
Yeah, I got spoiled.
Yeah. Yeah, I spoiled him on this. It was just out of context, though. But yeah, along their journey, they meet a woman in another village, and she got up and dropped a polite, perfunctory curtsy.
What?
Just randomly,
Wait,
this very complex word in this book for 8-year-olds.
Also, why haven't you guys like taken like a stick and like attached it to his face? Like, just make a fake horn in any way, like
Because
not draw
up.
attention.
So, this woman is very not all that polite until she notices the old fossil that is traveling with them, Dr. Bones. And then all of a sudden she gets very her personality completely changes. And they have a code word for going to speak in private, which is going to look at her teas inside the building. Why, certainly, Madame. Will you come to the back with me? You can make your own selection there. And then they go inside.
Ari just turns to Lori and like, oh, they fucking. And Lori's just like, what the fuck? It's like, look, it makes more sense than anything else we've seen today.
Jesus Christ.
It's really weird because, like, she starts out by going to say Dr. Bones' first name, Elian, and then Mo? And, like, the only thing that I can think about is, like, mother?
Oh.
Is this your daughter?
Why are you keeping it secret from the people you're traveling with?
Like, this never gets explained because this character only exists in this scene.
I was gonna say, also,
So,
we just completely
then,
skipped,
like,
like,
what the
massive
fuck?
gaps of travel. Like, we're suddenly here wherever this is.
Yeah.
Gotta go fast.
Well, this is technically an important scene because it leads into the next scene.
Okay.
Like they can't get to the next scene without this scene, for reasons that you'll soon learn. So the woman Leia is freaking out. She's heard such terrible rumors. That's why I've stopped to see you. You know more about what's going on in Balinor than any 10 Samlets. So then why is he the leader of the goddamn fucking resistance?
Yeah, I was about to say, what do you mean, dog? Apparently, for like this past freaking chapter or two, you've been spoon-feeding us why he's apparently the most important motherfucker in this goddamn story. And now you're saying he's not that important again?
Well, okay. Now, in defense of that does not deserved by this book, for the record. A leader does not necessarily know everything. They have people and advisors and informants and the like. You have a lot of it's usually a group effort that are very much like it's an information network. It's people all keeping each other up to date, and like there's typically one person, like a lore keeper or something like that. Someone who's keeping track of a lot of the information, who can then feed it to the leader in order for the leader to have a clear mind that's not like overloaded with a bunch of useless junk and that he needs to sort through. Like I get that,
also implied,
but it's not like
it's also implied that Samlet is a bit of a bumbling idiot.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely the case. Like, I don't know why you would trust Sam with anything. Also, still, dick move. Just openly degrading Samlet, the guy that apparently did a lot of fucking work to save your asses.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna mention. It's like, I understand all of that, but it's like having this juxtaposed with all a bunch of information saying that, oh, we trust him to do this and that and this and that and this and that. It's like, okay, now you're saying he's not. It's so freaking. In any other story, we wouldn't be having this problem.
Yeah. So, they're trying to find old Minge.
I'm gonna be right back and use the restroom.
Yep. The Jewelrite.
Oh.
Leia's brows drew together in a frown. Why would you want to see him? Gee, I wonder why you want to see a magical Jewelrite when you've heard rumors of things like the princess is gone and maybe her unicorn's horn has been shattered. Because that is one of the rumors that might be flying around. Gee, I wonder why.
Dude, what in the fuck? Why are we even here? What the fuck? Why are we here? Just to suffer?
She went on in a rush. Is it true, Elaine, that the princess is lost, perhaps dead? That the Sunchaser has lost his jewel? She gasped. Her hand went to her mouth. Her gray eyes met Ares' blue ones. Your Highness! She exclaimed. She sank to the floor in a profound bow.
Yeah, you should have seen her like a moment ago, but okay.
This just makes Samlet not immediately recognizing Aerie even more dumb.
Oh my god. Dude, it's like they made Sam, it's like he's like the black hole of this entire thing so far. Every time everything is like made to just make us more mad at him or just more confused about him.
Well, like, it would have been fine if Samlet was just this one-off character who knew nothing about anything, and like maybe the rumors hadn't had time to reach his village yet, so then he wouldn't have known about the dangers, or that the princess was possibly lost, and that her unicorn had lost his horn and was hornless.
Yeah, but he's no longer horny. But like, it's with this, it's just like I'm getting a lot of mixed signals here, and I don't like it. Okay.
It shall be an epic tale. The Teddy Coalition of the Teddies, Care Bears, Unicorn Republic, United Earth Ponies, and Free Pegasi against the Loyalists of Balinor, depending on how much more Balinor content lay in store.
All right, down with the Principality of Balinor.
I am all for it. Twilight, I'm so looking forward to your rewrite to make Sam have a redeeming character. It's going to be very interesting because it's going to feature a lot of elements that are going to come in toward the third book. So I can't really say anything all that much about what I have for my rewrites so far. But I will talk about it more in length.
Oh, well, you're breaking up something
get toward the end of the series.
Yeah, I was about to say you were breaking up a little bit in the middle there, but I got what you.
Not as bad as Kaiser typically, but.
No, my headphones decided to die because I forgot to play music. Oh, I forgot to play music while we were doing this.
Wait,
now
you need to play music for your
everything is
headphones not to
messed
die?
up.
Okay, I thought that was just me. I thought I heard.
But yeah,
Sorry
wow, they
about that.
really do just such a good job of completely kneecapping poor old Sam.
Yeah.
That's really impressive how they
just back to back too.
I like your read on it, Kaiser. Sam really is a black hole for this entire story.
Yeah, exactly. It's again the same. That's why I literally call Raven and Ruby, like, she is just this black hole of a character where every time you just think about her, she gets even worse. Like, she is probably the hardest thing to fix in the story. Among like, you can probably easily like make a whole bunch of the other elements much better, but just not her. I'm not even sure if it's even possible. But it's the same. At least with Samlet, though, it's not as bad because the solution is for him to just not be anywhere near this important, or just make him a bit more competent, and that's it from the get-go.
Yeah. So it's very frustrating. Also, yeah, sorry for some reason when my headphones died. That also somehow affected my second monitor, and then my second monitor blipping for a second had fucked up my Rahi tuber. So it was just a
cascade effect,
domino effect. Yeah, it was just a domino effect of all these things that went wrong. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna look forward to talking about what very little I have for my rewrite. So, you know, I have a base of a rewrite, and maybe there can be some interactivity with you guys talking about maybe throwing some ideas my way for what I could do for parts of it. Who knows? That might be fun. But moving on, it was hard getting used to this. She hoped every single person they met wasn't going to drop to the dirt like a lopped-off cabbage every time her identity was revealed. On second thought, she'd be glad if the Shifter and his gruesome pals did that instead of trying to cut off her own head like a cabbage.
Antia, the Shifter.
Wow, how very considerate of you, but okay.
Yeah.
If only my enemies prostrated themselves before me and made them easy to kill. Yes, Ari.
Yes, yes,
great.
Yes, Ari. We also wish for this story to end much sooner, but we can't have everything we want.
I was gonna say, at this point, I know nothing about Entia and everything about you guys, and honestly, that's not a mark in your favor. The worst thing about Entia right now is a logistical issue. That's the only problem going on right now. Everything else, motive-wise, I don't like anyone here.
Yeah. Also, I just love how Teddy Bear Paladin is just having the time of his life, LARPing in the comment section. He's just, I love it. It's great.
Yeah, he's having
so much fun.
He's gotten inspired.
Yeah.
One if by land, two by sea.
So we get Leia raising her head as Aerie tells her to get up off the fucking floor, you dumb bitch. We thought that we would never see you again, she said softly. Your mother, the queen? Your father?
Also the queen?
That got captured by Entia, the Shifter, our enemy. Oh my god!
What the fuck is this dialogue, man? Like, I could see like someone stumbling over, like trying, like, oh, I mean, the queen, you're the queen and the king. Like she's like trying to correct herself from being too informal. But like you go from informal to formal to informal. It's like what? Okay.
I don't understand. I really don't.
Yeah. And then we got something else dropped. Where is the demon herd? And what about Cistern? Cistern. Another memory rocked Airy. Tentacles. A huge beak. One single yellow-green eye. A scaly, slimy thing that could travel in water as fast as it could on land.
Why did you name it a deposit of water?
Yeah, what?
That's a weird name for a monster. It's literally just an underground location where you store water, right? That's what a cistern is, roughly.
Yeah.
What? Why?
Stop using those words. I don't think they mean what you think they mean.
What's words?
It's just, you know, my this is my daughter, South, and this is my son, East.
Twy, you're not Kanye West.
And I hope I never will be. Ew.
I also, it's called. Did they mention they called it the demon herd before? Because that just always sounds silly to me. It's like
Yes,
you
it
have,
was the demon herd.
It's a bunch of angry sheep are gonna come kill me in my sleep. Like, actually, you know what? That'd be hilarious. That would be that like for a horror comedy, a demon sheep herd would be amazing.
I feel like there's like a old like YouTube skit where that's like a joke somewhere. I can't remember.
So we get a little bit more information about Cistern. Cistern now dwells in the moat outside the palace, Leia shuddered. They say he was maimed in the battle of the day of the great betrayal, that he can no longer walk on land. That is why, she bit her lip, her face was pale. Why what? Dr. Bones demanded. That is why the Shadow King flies at night. What's this? The shifter has bred a new monster? With wings? They say it's the Eye of Entia, in a new and more horrible form. The eye can see far now, above the land, perhaps to the gates of the Celestial Valley itself. Have you seen this winged shadow? Once, I didn't see it as much as I felt it passing, like a cold, cold wind, Mother Elaine, and I could not move for fear.
You know, she is very lucky that Tolkien is dead right now.
Yeah.
You say that like the Tolkien estate wouldn't sue the fuck out of her, knowing full. Although, like, honestly, if I were the Tolkien estate, I'd read this and be like, if anyone takes this seriously, they're too dumb to realize anything. I don't want their patronage.
Right.
But it's like, so you're combining the Eye of Sauron with the fucking Nazgul Dragon Rider things.
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Wonderful.
Cool. Cash money. Just rip everything off. Why don't you?
It's...
Also, people are pointing out that totally Cistern is some kind of ripoff of a Beholder from D&D, which isn't quite accurate, but like there are creatures like it. There's a thing called a Grell, which is a brain with a beak and tentacles. It doesn't have an eye, but like I don't know if that really matters ultimately. It's very similar. I guess just big, meatball with tentacles and other objects slammed into it makes it. It's not that uncommon, but it's kind of annoying.
Right. I didn't highlight this, but I just want to read this bottom line. When the time comes, Leia echoed. She raised her fist in the air. We will fight. It's
everyone polite clap.
Yeah.
Polite clap. Ah, fuck.
So, if you remember what I said last week, I said that the orange highlights was going to be a good moment of writing.
Okay.
I'm scared.
You're
This is
scared
new
of good
to
writing?
me.
In this circumstance, yes.
Yeah. So they move on from this lady's hut. And then they get directions to this person's hut that they said that this lady said that they could stay the night at. That shepherd's hut can't be too far from here. Your directions were awful, the unicorn threw over his back. Past the cove of pine trees, you said. Then north by northeast, you said. I was right, Dr. Bone said flatly. It's you who can't tell north from south, Toby. The unicorn stopped in his tracks. Hey! His voice had the patient reasonableness of parents with idiot children. You face north, right? If you face north, then south is in back of you. East is to the left of you. East is to the right of you, Dr. Bones said. I told you before. Left! 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 Toby stamped his right forefoot each time that he hollered. Ari burst into laughter. What's so funny? Toby asked icily. You are, Lori said. I've never seen such a boneheaded unicorn of my life. For one thing, you can't even tell your left foot from your right foot, which means nobody can understand how we got so lost in the first place, because when you were so wrong, you were right. Right here, a scratchy voice said. Everyone jumped. Where did that come from? Lori demanded. From the bush over there. To your left, Toby said sourly. Ari looked to her right.
There's a lot there to like. I can see it.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's kind of weird that
was
Lori is
actually-
just fully adapted to the whole unicorn thing at this point, though. It's like, oh, I've never seen such a boneheaded unicorn until like an hour ago.
Yeah. There's that.
But yeah, like, comparatively speaking, this was a really good moment in the book, and I thoroughly enjoyed reading it.
It's like it characterized
Yeah, this
everyone.
was-
I kind of like that, like Ari and Lori were on the same page, like having a good laugh. It's like it's Ari that laughed, and then it's Lori that followed up with the explanation why. And it's like they were both on the same page there.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, they're becoming friends. Maybe
feels-
I doubt it, but you know, I can hope.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I see like a lot of similar shows with this kind of
Dynamic.
style of interaction. Yeah, this kind of dynamic and style of interaction and stuff like that. Like this is actually genuinely kind of charming.
Yeah. I forgot to highlight this part. So Chase says that there is a hut, or a human
To the bad again.
and a hut behind him, through the bushes where they can't see. And his explanation for knowing why he can sense things that he can't see, Chase says, the wind blows around its shape, and there are movements in the forest, vibrations on the floor. The vibrations can change when there is a structure there. I feel those movements through my hooves.
There's a shape in the distance. You can see it coming closer.
Coming
Mystery
closer.
of ages.
Mysteries of
History
ages.
combined.
Centuries combined.
I can't remember. Protection of the
I
night.
thought it was like centuries gone by.
I can't remember the actual lyrics. Like,
I don't know.
Power Rangers roar,
Rangers
Dino
roar.
Rangers score.
Dino Rangers
We
soar.
won't let these evil forces go. No, no, no. Power Rangers, his victory is ours forevermore. Yeah, but no, that's incredibly
Dino
stupid.
Thunder was great.
I
Yeah.
love like
And,
when
oh,
a
yeah,
Power Rangers theme with like just rocks is so good, man.
yeah. Also, okay, I guess Sun Chaser is just Daredevil now. Okay,
Yeah.
he can just do this shit.
Oh, please tell me Sun Chaser gets a hallway fight. I am no imagining. I'm just like superimposing a fucking bronze horse over Matt in the episode 2 hallway fight.
Oh my
and
God.
it's just fucking
I'm just imagining
hilarious.
it. You know what? For some weird reason, the minute that you said that, I imagined a stop motion version of that fight with just the horse.
No, I'm thinking like
Like, it's
awful
just stop
CGI
motion style
horse.
animation.
Like it's got to be in line with what we've seen of
Oh,
this
man.
series.
Right.
So, they part the brush, and a wild man appears, who asks, "You who I've been expecting?"
It's Minge.
Uh,
It's Minge because they're in the brush.
I'm done.
So they talk briefly about payment. Lori makes a reference to her Visa card, or her father's Visa card again. Then the man jerked his chin up. Ari craned her head back and looked into the trees. A flock of crows hopped silently overhead. One of them blinked his beady eye at her and said, "Toll! Pay the toll! Pay the toll!" "We have a few pennies," Dr. Bones said.
Okay, I need to ask for clarification here. The whole flock hopped? Like, in unison? Like, what is that?
Yeah,
That
what?
sounds really impressive, intimidating, and I wonder if there would actually be, like, a seismic moment there with the combined weight of a bunch of birds just landing at once.
I imagine that they're all, like, hopping not in unison, but, like, just generally moving through the branches, or on the branches, just, like, hopping back and forth. But
Oh my god, they're Naruto tree hopping.
So they settle their little conversation, and this man is known as Tomlet. He is a distant relative of Samlet. Because you could tell with their names.
Okay.
You know, it is rare when I feel actual pain from reading something. Like, I play things up all the time. I am actually fucking fed up with this book's shit.
Yeah. I
Like-
think I'm with you on
like
this one.
there is a point where it's like all the other bad shit we've read before on like bad fan fiction night. Clearly, someone had a passion. Even Lily Orchard, for as horrible as she is, she really does care about the story that she's writing.
Oh, she has a passion for something, all right.
We're not getting into that, all right? We're already near the prerequisite like innuendo for the stream, but it's so painfully clear the writer of this did not care whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it's like, it baffles me because like this is, I think, worse than Ruby at this point. It has to be worse than Ruby.
It's
like Miles, Carey, and Monty at the very least cared for the first few volumes, and I think there were people that intermittently cared on the later ones. I get the feeling that like maybe it started off as someone cared for like a second, and then literally it was just, let's shovel this out the fucking door.
That care died the second it came out.
Yeah. So, yeah, you can now understand why I suggested that we could have read this during bad fanfiction night. And how I said that it was my version of Ruby. It's just so bad. But this man Tomlet is known as some. Yeah, he's known as some sort of wild folk, which are apparently just a group of people living in the forest, being bums, who are not aligned with any faction. So they're not aligned with Balinor. They're just free people living in the woods, being Robin Hoods, but without the cause.
My brain went to the homeless encampment from Hina Matsuri, but like those guys are actually like dope. So
yeah,
I was thinking of the Swamp Bender.
Okay, but those guys are also awesome. This is a homeless crazy person as apparently brother with an inn owner, so I don't know why he lives out here, I guess, other than just to stay away. I don't... Also, the name Let kind of implies that, like, you're not the full-sized Tom. Samlet, Tomlet, are we gonna get Manlet next at some point?
Is Let this world's junior?
Perhaps.
Is that what this is?
I mean, that's actually not a terrible idea for a world building. The idea of having a suffix to a name that like fuses into the name to denote.
Yeah, kind of like Odin's son.
Yeah, like how that kind of like mutated over time into last names, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So like that's not bad, but the fact you chose Let for that, if that's even anywhere near what you were intending to do. Anyway, it just
which probably wasn't.
Tomlet just breaks me. That's just like, you don't give a shit.
Yeah. The chat's having a lot of fun. Boblet, Outlet,
Jacklet, Maclet, Ricklet. We're going to get Omelet.
Viclet.
Boblet.
Omelet, yeah. Anyway, we have another instance of good writing.
Piglet.
Eee.
Oh, two in the same chapter. That's rare.
I know. Like this is what made reading the second half of this book actually fly by so fast. So they unpack everything and go into the house. They said that it was clean, but apparently it wasn't clean. But they're gonna go stay in this place for the night. Ari went over and began to unbuckle the lines from the shafts of the cart. Toby stamped his foot and said, "Stop." "Do you have a stone in your hoof?" Harry asked. "Let me get the hoof pick." "No stone. There's something going on I don't like." Without thinking, Ari's hand went to the knife at her boot. "What is it?" she whispered softly. "Look up." Ari gazed upward. "Don't be so obvious about it, Princess," Toby said. Ari rubbed her nose casually. She stretched her neck this way and that. She rolled her shoulders, put her arms over her head, and yawned. All the while she battled fear. "The crows," she whispered to Toby. "There are thousands of them in the trees. And Toby, their eyes," she shuddered.
"Like a dog's
demon
eyes." Sorry.
Toby agreed quietly. "They found us. Or Tomlets betrayed us. Get those two out of the hut and into the cart." "Ari?" Chase stood at full alert, gazing into the trees. "There is danger here." "Would you tell him not to hang out a sign?" Toby grumbled.
Sunchaser, please don't make out with Ari anytime soon. Look, we don't have the time.
Yeah.
Also, I would love Ari to be like, "No shit."
Yeah.
I mean, granted, he can't hear this conversation, probably.
Okay,
I don't know.
sorry, I know we're in the middle of good writing, quote unquote, because I have some questions about like how this was even set up anyway, because there were plenty of crows earlier.
Yeah, they're the same crows.
So now they're evil crows, even though they all noticed the crows, and I think Tomlet pointed them out.
Yeah, shouldn't y'all have felt them before or something?
Just
they hopped.
Just wait.
But I was gonna say, like, there's a dynamic here that would actually be interesting as the series goes on, where like everyone else who's kind of supernaturally inclined, like Toby, Ari and Sunchaser, are all like noticing weird things around them, and they have to keep getting Lori out of trouble because Lori's just not attuned to this. And obviously, like, Ari would probably get better at noticing this stuff too. Oh my god, the chat's still going.
I know.
Well, specifically, Bear Paladin is still going.
Yeah, you guys, I keep at it. I'm loving this. But the Raylet, okay, now you can stop now. Twilight. Oh, that's actually a really unfortunate one. That's
Twilight.
Oh, I'm gonna pop off to the toilet.
Kylet.
Harlot.
But no, I was gonna say, like, it'd be interesting if over time because Lori's getting sick of people watching out for her, she actually like kind of practices being observant, and she becomes like the most observant person in the group after a time. Like she's like at some point she points at me now. I was like, oh, how did you notice that, Lori? It's like, I got sick of everyone else watching my back. Gotta watch it myself eventually.
Yeah.
Like that's a fun idea that come to mind.
That would be fun, yeah. Let's see. Tell him to keep on grazing like nothing's happening. If those birds attack. What do they want? Aerie whispered back. She caught the eye of a large crow. It glittered like a banked coal. His pin feathers stuck up all over his back. He chatted at her. Pay the toll! Pay the toll! Pay the jewel! Aerie stopped herself just in time. She almost grabbed the jewel around her neck. If they saw where it was hidden, the birds would attack for certain.
I thought it was under your skirt.
Yeah, I guess she moved it off screen.
Yeah, just teleported.
She was worried the camera would need to see it more frequently, and she was afraid of upskirt shots.
Right.
I mean, we've already seen what happens. What happens to Lori, who, by the way, I don't think has gotten a change of pants. So she's still...
No, she has.
Oh, she has? Okay.
Yeah. Food's ready. Yeah. And if they saw where it was hidden, the birds would attack for certain. Food's ready, Lori announced. She stood at the door to the hut. Get ready, Dr. Bones, Aerie said as normally as she could. She's asleep. There's something wrong with Toby's hoof. The black and white unicorn nodded vigorously. The harness jingled wildly as he shook his head. I want a doctor, now, he said. Oh, all right. Lori flounced into the hut, and a few moments later, Dr. Bones stumbled out. She yawned, scratched her head, and stamped over to Toby. Which foot is it? Left, right, or left? Oh, what the heck am I asking you for? You don't know the diff. Aerie grabbed her hand and squeezed it. The vet's bright blue eyes narrowed. Aerie jerked her chin upwards ever so slightly. Dr. Bones nodded. Lori, she said curtly, get the hoof pick and bring it to me. Right now. I'm eating. And this unicorn's lame. Move it. Ah! Lori slammed back into the hut. Bring the whole pack, Lori, Aerie suggested in what she hoped was a casual tone. Her palms were sweating. She wiped them down the sides of her breeches.
Knees weak, Mom's spaghetti.
Chase, who had been grazing nearer and nearer in ever smaller circles, nudged her in the back with his muzzle. We must ride, milady. We don't have much time. Oh, Lori! Aerie looked up in pretended exasperation. She probed the trees as she chattered. Hundreds of crows gathered in the trees above, perhaps thousands. What unnerved her most was the silence in which the birds gathered. All except one, the bird with the demon eyes, who chattered. Pay the toll! Pay the toll! Pay the jewel!
Okay, so 3 comments. 1, genuinely unnerving, creepy, and really well paced. That's actually a really good scene.
Yeah.
Second, I can't help but hear the voice of the crow from Billy and Mandy for the crow that's yelling at them to pay the jewel.
Yeah.
Do not cry for him! Do not cry! And then third, part 2, the voice of Toby is totally the guy that voices Dookie from Johnny Test. I know that's a deep cut, but like I can hear it. I can fucking hear it. And now third, they are still going at it. Oh my god, that is like a solid 5 minutes of people just coming up with names.
Yeah, seriously.
All broken up by, you've upset the natural order! God, I love that fucking show.
Yeah, that show was really funny. But yeah, that was a good scene, honestly. That was very... what was it? It actually had this weird thing we call suspense.
It had character too.
Yeah.
Like all the characters actually had a distinct like energy to them. I understood who they all were in context to one another. How Lori was out of the loop and was being ordered around and she was upset about it. Like there was like this. I clicked. It fucking clicked for a moment.
Yeah.
And that's great. Where is the rest of this?
I know. I know. And I think I have a hypothesis as to why this moment is so good.
Okay.
Because when she writes her adult books as her separate pen name, because she writes her adult stuff, or at least her stuff for an older audience, under a pen name, and then she writes her children's books under her real name. Her adult books are suspense books.
Oh.
Okay. So she just flexed her power level a little bit here. Got you.
Yeah. So I think that she was genuinely able to make this a good scene because this is her wheelhouse.
Now, the caveat to this is, did Tom actually sell them out? I thought the birds were just there and Tom had pointed that out. I don't fucking know.
I think it's implied that he did because he's working with the crows, and the crows are controlled by the one demonic crow. So none of the crows have demon eyes except for the one leader crow.
Someone just chuck a brick at it.
Which.
But yeah, like...
Oh my god, they got into the part where they're overlapping on the names.
Jesus Christ.
Guys, it's okay. It's okay, Let. You can let go, Let. It's fine,
okay.
Let.
Oh my... No, don't start that, please.
Don't
this
start what,
will
Let.
never end at that point. Okay.
But yeah, what
Twilight, just move on before we get
get Kagome to shoot it. Yes.
Get Kagome. Oh my god.
But yeah, what I think happened in the first scene was that there was like maybe 10 crows at most, just like a small group of them, and then as they weren't paying attention, just more crows started flocking towards them. But now that they're all together, they suddenly are just like, let's fucking get out of here, and then they start just bolting it. And the crows start attacking them. The great stallion reared, and Aerie realized with a pang that he was trying to spear the birds with his horn. But he had no horn. It's like, yes, Aerie, we know. Thank you.
Yes, he's not horny for you right now. I'm sorry. Yes, it's such a great tragedy. Such a great tragedy, truly.
Tragedy, ain't it?
I think this is actually good characterization for Chase, but it's not... Like, it's good characterization for Chase, but it's not good characterization. It's kind of just frustrating.
I kind of wish that Chase didn't have the memory thing going on. I wish more it was a struggle to communicate with her. Like they couldn't.
Right.
Like, it was more of like he learned slowly over time to actually speak with her. And like, so he could only communicate small bits and you can get little bits of exposition from him. So like him doing things is still like in character, but he's like aware. He's like of the pair, the aware one. And she's being led into this by him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We must run, Chase. I do not run from battle.
I'll give you a carrot.
You have no horn, Aerie shrieked. She slammed her heels into his sides. Shocked, Chase took a great leap forward.
And thus doomed an entire country for 50 years.
So, yeah, like, that's a little bit of a characterization for Chase. Like, I think we got it before, that he was very stubborn when it came to battle, but it's just, I guess, reminding us or just driving it home that he kind of is willing to fight toward the detriment of what's going on.
Which, to an extent, I can kind of see where they're going with it. where
Yeah.
it's like, okay, this is like a tendency of his that characters can have tendencies that can potentially get in the way of certain things, which breeds conflict within the group, and you can do some shit with that. But it's like, I don't really have faith in this one. I don't think they're cooking here.
Yeah. So they're
I-
bolting into the forest. Sorry.
Oh, I'm also torn between like how dangerous this actually is as a situation. Like, okay, if the crows can shapeshift, that's another thing. But presuming they are just crows right now, I think
enough crows to block out the sun.
true. But like, I'm just trying to think. Like, they're not typically all that. Like, I guess the biggest fear would be like them like in moss picking you up. I guess.
Yeah,
like
or
pecking
or
you to death,
scratching,
maybe.
Yeah, pecking you to death, scratching your eyes out, like attacking you, swarming you until they can get the jewel from wherever you've hidden it.
I guess that's a
And
fair.
then-
That's a fair, yeah. Because I'm thinking about this because like
Yeah.
in Resident Evil, one of the most common recurring enemy types are crows that are infected that try to kill you, and like they don't. They're actually really easy to kill. They're not. They're kind of like more of an irritant in the games, but like lore wise, they always scared the fuck out of me because hey, one peck and you're just fucked. You're infected. It's game over.
Yeah.
You have the zombieism. You can't get away from that. So it's like when like you encounter in the very first game one of your compatriots stabbed to death by crows. I'm like, fucker, how did you manage to let this happen to yourself? You were carrying a grenade launcher.
Yeah.
It's like you could have blasted them all away in one shot. I mean, yeah, sure, you turn into a zombie later. That would have happened anyway. But like, how do you not kill the crows?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, continue.
So they bolt off into the forest. They're trying to outrun the crows. Eventually, they get into a thick part of the woods that the crows can't penetrate through the branches of the trees, so they eventually lose them. And then they realize that they're on their own. And they hear something in the distance and realize that it's everybody else who got split off from them in the chaos. Toby had run straight into the swamp. He was just a few feet from shore when he realized they were sinking. The mud was thick and sucked at his hooves with a slow, inexorable force. Again, inexorable. This word in this children's book for 8-year-olds.
Also, inexorable force. I don't think that word means what you think it means.
Let me look it up.
Inexorable. Impossible to stop or prevent. Okay, I get that sort of, but the mud was thick and sucked at his hooves with a slow, inexorable, like, I don't know, it feels weird for suction to be described this way.
Yeah. So, Aerie and Chase pull up with the crew sinking fast into this quicksand mud. Just this video game quicksand mud in the swamp.
Start playing the Sonic drowning sound. Bum, 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 bum.
Lori is freaking the fuck out. Do something! Lori screamed. We're sinking! I can see that, Aerie said. That's not highlighted, but I thought that was funny.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I wish Ari had more no shit moments like this.
Yeah. So they're trying to figure out how to get them out. Dr. Bones says that just strapping Chase to the cart and then pulling them out is too heavy for Chase. Pull Lori out first, but no buts. The way she's wriggling around, she's making us sink faster. And then Lori is freaking out so much that she can't use her ears, I guess. Aerie gave up trying to talk to her.
When your ears don't work like they used to before.
Aerie gave up trying to talk to her. She was glad now that she never had to use a bit with Chase. He was wearing a noseband, the head stall, and nothing more. She just hoped the leather would hold. She searched the ground beneath her feet for a heavy rock. She found it. She tied the reins around it and tossed it into the cart. It hit Dr. Bones on the back. The old vet slumped forward. Eri stood frozen in fear. Dr. Bones shook her head and then reached around and handed the reins to Lori.
You almost fucking knocked out Dr. Bones.
I know.
I mean, I actually kind of like that. It's like, oh, I just really fucked up. Oh, shit.
Yeah. It would have actually been...
How are you all still going with this?
Guys, the horse is dead. It died in the swamp.
Yeah.
How are you even still beating it? It's below the liquid.
Hold on. My stream freaking died again.
Oh dear. It actually would have been more interesting for Dr. Bones to be knocked out, and then Lori would have probably had to fix everything. Like, she would have had to tie the rope around Dr. Bones to get her out first. And then, like, she's freaking out because there's no other way to do it. Like, she can't get out first because Dr. Bones is unconscious. If she goes out first, she's the only one who is capable of saving Toby, who is now sinking and drowning in the bog.
Yeah, if only, like, Lori were allowed to be given more to do than just be a load.
Yeah.
Also, Kai, your screen is not showing up yet. He's still having problems, ain't he?
Oh dear.
Yep, that's that.
Again.
That figures. Well, let's
also
continue.
Nice never-ending. Yeah. Nice never-ending story reference. Yeah. Yeah. The vet crawled forward and tied the reins around the shafts of the cart. Dr. Bones! Bonesy! Eri clenched her fists to keep from screaming. We can't leave him here, Dr. Bones said, and there's no one to tie the reins to him once I'm out. It's like, yeah. So Toby is currently up to his mouth in mud, apparently.
Just seeing this snout just sticking out, like, guys, a little help here.
Like, one thing that I actually like about the characterization is that he's being pretty selfless like this. He's like, you go ahead. Like, his voice was thick with mud. Like, he's kind of telling them to abandon him and leave him to his fate. Because going to find the jewel right is more important.
We're gonna lose Toblet.
Oh no, they've infected you. Raven, no!
Please, I was also making those jokes. Is how this all got started.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just trying to think about it. Aren't you a magic unicorn? Don't you have magic unicorn powers that can help you here, Toby?
It was established before that he barely has any magic.
You can have something. Anything.
Yeah.
How deep is this quicksand? How did you manage to get into the middle of it so fast?
Oh, it's not quicksand, it's just mud.
Wow,
in a swamp.
Spot to come back to.
It really doesn't change much of the metric. It's like, how did you get in here so deep? Like, Jesus Christ, mud does not work this way.
We'll figure that out, because as soon as we get past this blue, we have another good scene.
Ah.
Oh my gosh.
I know! Chase backed up. He tugged. The cart moved up, then settled back into the swamp. For me, Chase! For me! Chase pulled again.
Oh my goodness.
This just implies that, like,
What
Chase didn't try very hard until Eri was like, can you please actually put in some effort for my sake?
The power of bestiality compels me!
Yeah. Do it, Chase. Do it for your short stack gum.
So yeah, the part that I didn't highlight was kind of description of Chase's bulging muscles and all that kind of stuff.
Dude, okay. Don't make the Vosh jokes even more hilarious, okay, book? Please.
But the cart does start moving out of the swamp. Eri was afraid to look at Toby, but she couldn't look away. The black and white unicorn was almost completely under the mud. All she could see was his horn, sticking bravely up like a flag. Hurry, Chase! You can't survive under there very long. Blood ran out of Chase's nose.
Excuse me? What? Oh my god.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
that is not a good sign.
Apparently if horses exert too much force, then they will automatically get nosebleeds. It's apparently a very common thing.
Twi, are you a horse?
Knew that. Whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay, well,
you do not know how often she gets nosebleeds, all right? It is crazy.
Yeah, I do get frequent nosebleeds.
Okay, in retrospect, I think y'all did tell me about that before, but god damn.
Robbie was just like, well, that was just said. It was like, yeah.
Alright, be real quick.
Yeah, I have a confession, Raymond. I actually am a unicorn from this world. I managed to escape from the pages, and that is why I am obsessed with this book series, and also why I like horses. Don't you know? Because I am a horse. And I made that joke reserved to my fate that I will now have Vosh jokes labeled at me.
Well, at least, you know, for anniversary, I can just, like, take you out for some hay. Although that will make a candlelight dinner a little more difficult because, you know, fire risk and everything. Oh my god, no, Twi, you opened the door not to Vosh jokes, but to Twilight Sparkle jokes.
Oh, yeah. Actually, surprisingly, I haven't got as many references to Twilight Sparkle with my name than I thought that I would.
Well, that's about to change. People will take this up.
I guess so. But
Note
yeah,
to self, never get kicked by Twilight. That's good advice, whether or not she's a horse. She has good lower body strength.
Now we get back to the good writing. Woo! The cart has pulled free, and now they're trying to revive Toby. The reins slipped off the shafts. Toby was gone, except for the tip of his horn. Eri wound the reins around her waist and plunged into the swamp. She sank to her chest almost immediately. Dr. Bones' hands were firmly around her shoulders. Lori grabbed her right arm. With her left, she searched under the mud. After a few terrible moments, she found a leather strap and a warm hide underneath. "I've got him!" she gasped. She tied the reins around the belly band of his harness.
Okay, but like if she pulls him up and it's the wrong horse.
It's
just like, wait, you're not the horse. That just like, shoves it back down, reaches under. Oh, here's the right one. Okay.
"Pull!" Dr. Bones shouted. "Pull for your lives!" With a tremendous groan of pain, Chase dragged Toby out of the swamp. The spotted unicorn lay dreadfully still. Dr. Bones took the edge of her shirt and quickly wiped the mud from his nose and mouth. His eyes were closed. "But he's still breathing," Lori said timidly. "Look." It was true. His flanks heaved in and out with the harshest breaths. Dr. Bones crouched over him for a long, anxious moment. Then his eyes flickered open. He gave a great cough. Swamp mud poured out of his mouth and all over Lori's feet. The blonde girl crouched down and smoothed the forelock away from Toby's eyes. "You told me to take a left, he coughed.
Aw. That all works.
It does.
Although I'm disappointed. I was hoping
that was actually good.
I was hoping we'd get horse
Yeah.
CPR, which I think would be hilarious. Because I'm just imagining a horse, like a horse on its back with its hooves like up in the air, and just someone just trying to shove down, like, breathe, damn it, live. You know, I could see Ari doing that, and then doing mouth to mouth, and a sun chaser off the side, like, man, I wish that were me.
But yeah, I thought that was really good, bringing back his lack of direction as the reason why they were in that predicament in the first place.
It's almost as if character flaws lead to interesting circumstances that explore the characters and help them grow together or conflict with one another or lead into difficult situations and challenges they need to overcome. Who would have thought about that?
Who knew?
No.
I'm just staring over at like Lilith Farron.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess Lily
I was
Orchard.
going to say, I was going to make a Lily joke. I was going to say, but Raymond, don't you know, asking for those things is transphobic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, is trans misogynistic specifically.
But yeah, like these good scenes in this otherwise terrible book. It's a breath of fresh air, honestly.
It really is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, it's
how
like
worse is it gonna get?
That kernel of what could be. And what I really love about this is like being able to like read this now and turn to Twi and be like, yeah, you see, this is what I get with Ruby. This exactly. You were right to say this is your equivalent. This is exactly what I get with Ruby. These moments of like, oh, okay, I see what you can get there. It's right there, and you lost it.
Yeah, and you lost it.
Yeah.
Okay, now we have Weiss and freaking Atlas. She's talking to her mom, and we lost it. Okay, all right. Well.
And it's gone.
And it's gone. I love that joke that I put in like a couple of my videos. I need to use it more.
So, they had to rest for 2 days for Toby to fully recover. We don't have enough food.
One thing I want to point out that I actually don't like about this book, because it's just like a natural thing to me at this point. There's no real like end to scenes. They just kind of flow from one scene to the next and they just kind of say, oh, time passed. Like, I know that's probably normal for a lot of books. I typically like a little like divider or like a break of some sort between one scene ending and another scene starting. Like, it's just a personal taste type thing. I know, like, you can do it smoothly. It doesn't feel smooth here.
Yeah. And I don't know how much of that is formatting, but I mean, I guess we could check the... Oh, I forgot that I moved those. So those are all useless now.
Well.
Damn.
Oh.
R.I.P.
Okay, well. Next stream then.
Next stream.
We have Ozlate give us a massive lure about the previous worlds. Shut up.
Oh my god! No!
We don't have enough food for 3 days, Aerie said. Skimpy rations aren't going to bother me. They'll have to do. Lori opened her mouth to whine, looked at poor Toby lying asleep on the grass, and then shut it. And from there on in, she stopped complaining. Aerie was amazed. She helped clean the cart, helped wash out their clothes, and even helped Aerie wash her hair.
Oh. That's a turnaround. Okay, you know,
yeah, I was about to say
that seems like an abrupt turnaround. I don't think it needs this needs a little more time in the oven, like, for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I kind of get it. Like, this is the sort of like, especially with the way things happen. The other page where it's like, okay, this is like her Han Solo moment where she actually gives a shit and starts doing things for the others. But
start with either the clothes or washing Ari's hair. one or the other. Like, they choose one of those and have her like volunteer to be like, hey, look, if you wash my hair, I'll wash yours. Like that sort of thing. Like, because I can't reach it, you can't reach it. Like, we're just gotta make sure we scratch those backs eventually. And that could be like a small moment with each other where they actually talk about the predicament they're in and actually have a kind of a heart-to-heart type moment. And even if they don't resolve everything here and then, it'd be like a building block towards a larger relationship between them. That's not what we're getting. We're just kind of glancing over that.
Yeah, like I get what this is supposed to be. It's like, okay, even Lori can recognize that they're in a predicament because Toby is genuinely sick right now and they could use some help. So instead of her just being a whiny little baby, she'll actually like put up with it for now.
Yeah, like actually just spread this out into its own like 2 pages. This entire interaction that she has where like she's like, I mean, even that maybe just like a couple of paragraphs, just like, you know, her reluctantly being like, okay, look, this is not the time. Like even I can tell this is not the time. I need to actually do something. This unicorn tried to save my life, and I realize how close I came. Like a near-death experience to a character like this is typically a great turnaround point for them to realize they're up shit creek and no one's going to pull them out with a golden spoon. So it's like the kernel is there. They're not doing anything with it.
Exactly. This is why I want to do my rewrite of this story, because like I can see so many different tiny little kernels of good in this, just like with Ruby and fixing Ruby. I'm gonna be fixing unicorns of Balinor.
So many Colonel Sanders. So many Colonel Sanders in this book.
Yeah. So eventually Toby coughs up the last of the swamp water, and then they make it to Luckin. Luckton.
We just
skipped there. It is Luckin. It is Luckin. Yes. I keep wanting to say that it's Luckton, but there's no T in there.
Because it sounds Luckton would sound like an actual place.
Yeah.
Or no, maybe Vi, you're just lucking wrong.
So they make it to the village where the Jewelright Minge lived. Except he don't live here no more, the innkeeper of Luckin said. So they're just here now.
I guess.
Lori goes to have a bath. Chase is in the stalls and paddocks eating hay. And then there's just this serving girl who says, yeah, he comes here still. He lives somewhere here. I have no idea why the innkeeper said that he didn't then, but...
Yeah. Clearly one of them is evil.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just wanted to highlight this specifically because of something that's going to happen in the future. The serving girl had bright red hair and a lot of freckles. She also talked a lot. She talked incessantly for the next 3 days, while Dr. Bones, Chase, Aerie, and Lori waited for the Jewelright.
Is this me, gender bent?
Yes. This is you, gender bent from the future. I'm sorry, Raymond, but this is terminal. It is a fixed point in time. I'm sorry. Goodbye. Yeah.
I guess there's worse fates.
Yeah. So Aerie is trying to remember if she's ever been to Luckin. They've been there for 4 days, apparently. I have no idea where they got the money to stay at this inn for 4 days, but they've been staying here, I guess.
Well, this is where, like, I really hate this, like, glaze over type of storytelling. It's like, finally Toby caught up to the last of the swamp mud, and they proceeded around the swamp to the village of Luckin, where the Jewelright Minge lived. It's like, okay, nothing. It's like there's no one like reflecting on whether, no conversation about what happened just a minute ago, no conversation about what they're doing and whether it's worth it.
But Raymond, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened.
There's no Wikipedia
It's as simple
article.
as that. Yeah, yo.
No wonder there's no Wikipedia articles on this fucking book. The books themselves are Wikipedia articles.
Dude, this is the style. See, remember back when we were reacting to that Blizzik video about Volume 9 being filler or not or whatever? And he was saying that, oh, not, these guys want stories that are just Wikipedia articles. You think we want this? You think this is what we're asking for?
Yeah.
One of the chief complaints I got for Volume 6, actually, just recently from one person, is that I had a lot of people, like a lot of characters faffing about just talking to one another as like fluff, which I heavily disagree with. Which is like, I want these characters interacting and growing and building off one another and building into their own stories. Like, I don't want summaries, I want characters.
Yeah.
And like I said, even then, there's not really a whole lot of fluff in your version of that volume anyway.
There really isn't. Like that is one of the tightest things I've written, surprisingly.
Right.
Have I ever been in Lucken? Once. Long time ago. Just before the ceremony of the bonding. Her wise eyes wrinkled in thought. You don't remember that? With Chase, you mean? No, I don't remember that. And Dr. Bones, I'm worried. His speech seems to be going. I mean, I can't really talk with him anymore. Dr. Bones nodded. Doesn't surprise me. Isn't there anything we can do?
Oh, so Chase's speech is leaving him.
It's just suddenly.
Yeah, it's like, I don't remember that being, like, I mean, admittedly, he hasn't talked very much recently, but...
He hasn't talking much in general, so, like,
Yeah, it's like, we don't really have them interacting, no matter, despite the fact that they're clearly married, the ceremony of bonding and all that.
Clearly.
You would think that, the spouses would talk to each other more.
Yeah, his horse and wife.
As God intended.
As Tacoma wept.
It'd be fucking hilarious if someone just went up, like who's a big fan of Balinor or something like that, who just kind of detached from reality, walked up to the Pope. It's like, Pope Francis II, what, or is he the first? I can't remember if he's the first or the second of Francis. He's like, what's the church's stance on horses marrying women? Pope just being like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, it'd be almost as awkward as that time that Matt Pat donated fucking Undertale to the Pope. Like, I actually do kind of like that, but like, I just find it all funny. Like, the world has become memes.
Mm-hmm.
Can the Pope cuss?
Yep. Don't let your dreams
I actually don't know. No, actually, he got in trouble recently for using a lot of Italian slurs. Yeah, let me briefly look that up. Yeah, that was a wild thing. Pope slurs.
Well, while you're looking that up, I guess. It's just a lot of things that are going on in this one thing that I highlighted. So, she's only been to Lucken once, despite the fact that it's the village right next to the goddamn palace.
Sorry.
And
Italian media reported that multiple people present at the meeting disclosed that Francis opposed the idea of, like, they're just talking about admitting gay men into Catholic seminaries in preparation for priesthood. And Francis was opposed to the idea, saying there was already too much... I can't pronounce that word. It's not even that I don't want to say that word. It's like a Frociaggine in seminaries. That word is a highly offensive slang term in Italian referring to gay men and gay male culture. Which is interesting considering how, like, open to LGBT Francis has been. So, I guess the Pope can curse.
yeah,
Yeah, I guess so.
Marco Ragno says, yes, the Pope can cuss, he just shouldn't. which, fair. I don't think anyone in positions of power who represent a bunch of people should do that, because it's bad on the people that they represent.
I'll be right back. I gotta hand my mom's credit card back to her.
Okay.
I used it today.
Gosh, dang it, Raymond.
You can continue. I know what you're
I know.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't really.
Darn, Melanie.
But yeah, like,
You just
I find it.
your inner Hank Hill there.
I find it odd that Aerie has only been to Lucken once, despite the fact that it's the town right next to the palace. Kind of implying, kind of implying that she's never really been outside of the palace before.
Which is, I mean, that's not necessarily impossible. I just doubt that they're going to be consistent with that.
Yeah.
Like, I
of
doubt
course,
that they're going to be consistent, that they're going to keep up that, her past is this, deeply, how should I say, kind of like, closed, hampered, or whatever the hell.
Yeah. And I'm going to be honest with you, we don't really focus a lot on Aerie's past. So it doesn't matter.
I guess.
Yeah. And again, like we briefly mentioned, it's weird that all of a sudden, for no discernible reason whatsoever, other than the fact that it builds tension, but it was never alluded to before this, Chase is all of a sudden losing his speech.
Yeah, just now. Which, given the fact that, he already has his horn friggin' just lopped off, you would think that would probably be something that'd be an issue from the get-go, but I guess not.
Yeah.
I guess not.
Well, now
he's
losing the ability to talk with his bonded mate. That's the bigger deal.
Yeah, that is the bigger deal.
Ah, true.
Aerie asks if there's anything that they could do. Nothing, Dr. Bone said. We can do nothing without the jewel and mended horn.
I think you highlighted that for a reason.
Just emphasizing that they can literally do nothing about the predicament until they do the thing that the whole book is centered around. Which we already knew that.
Yeah, this is where, like, the whole communication thing would be a way more interesting plot point. Instead of it being like, I can talk to you just fine, as opposed to, like, you should have started not being able to talk all that well and just, like, fucking whispering things in her ear and like, having her be like, wait, what did I hear? Like, it should have started off that way and built.
Yeah. And now, chapter 11... We catch up with Worst Boy. Numenor, the Golden One, went down the hill at an impatient walk, his hooves striking sparks from the granite gravel on his way. The unicorns of the celestial herd raised their heads at his approach, then melted silently into the trees as they saw how he looked.
The fucking Homer Simpson memed.
Atalanta, he called out. Atalanta! I am here, my lord. Numenor snorted and then reared. He came to the earth with a thump. And I am here, and so are all the others. But where is the jewel right? Because these unicorns are just fucking sports commentators.
Want to see them all in a booth, like headphones on, being like, well, clearly Ari is, she's trying to save Laurie and Toby from the mud. Oh, Laurie has the reins. Laurie's being rescued, but oh, poor Toby, he's going under. What do you think, Atalanta? He's your friend. Well, I don't really care much for him. Let him die.
Oh.
Well, back to you in the office, Philip. Hi, I'm Philip the Unicorn. That's my name. It's about as consistent as anything else in this book.
We don't really need this chapter. And yet here it is, because she's like, oh yeah, this is a unicorn book, and Atlanta is the deuteragonist of this story. Not, well, I guess tritagonist, really, because Aerie and Sunchaser are the deuteragonists, and then Atlanta is like the third main character. Even though that she is wholly divorced from the main story.
Yep.
But they, like, it's I know that I said that I wasn't really going to talk about my rewrite, but it's one of the things that I want to do in my rewrite is actually have like a C plot or a B plot going on. No, I guess it would be a C plot, because the A and B plots should be going on with Ariana. And then there would be a C plot going on with Atlanta. And I kind of want it to be like Atlanta realizing that the Celestial Unicorns are very comfortable in their ways. Like, they have a duty that they're supposed to be doing, but because they are so comfortable and so privileged and so
they've become complacent.
Up in the highest, yeah, they've become complacent. And she's getting more and more frustrated, and Numenor, who is supposed to be her mate, is getting more and more oppressive with her, and more sort of abusive. And she doesn't really know how to handle it, because unlike this Atalanta, I'm gonna make my Atalanta a brand new dream speaker. Like, instead of being an old dream speaker who knows what she's doing, this is gonna be a brand new one who is still kind of unsure of herself and figuring out what she needs to do. Yeah, that's my change for Atalanta.
It's a better thing than this, which is just literally, hey, there are other unicorns that are kind of doing things, I guess. Not really. They're just kind of chilling.
Yeah, not really. Like, it would be one thing if they actually do something by the end of this book, but I have a feeling that that's probably not going to happen.
Then what more can we do? Is it time for us to march? Has the shifter taken the jewel right? Must we follow the path from the moon to Balinor, an army which that the world has never seen before? Others have gone that way, my lord. They have left the valley on the path from the moon and have gone below. She said no more, but waited. The demon herd, you mean? Yes. Pride, my lord. A fatal thing, especially in kings.
So the demon herd is just a bunch of the unicorns that decided, fuck it, we're out.
Yeah, for some unknown reason, the demon herd is made up of former celestial unicorns that got corrupted by the shifter, I guess.
So they are just the fucking Nazgul. Got it. All right.
Yeah. And now the unicorn moon, the silver traveler herself. Like I said,
they just keep slapping on the freaking ripoff there.
Yeah. They left the dark ones of the rainbow and were not allowed to return. The dark ones of the rainbow. What does...
Okay, so here's what it's what happens after you stare at the sun too much and start getting those spots in your eyes, and then you look at a rainbow.
Huh.
That's all I got.
No, I was gonna say, like, this is what happens when you take a rainbow and you just put the grayscale filter on it.
Or is this maybe like the same way that some people say, kiss the darkest spot of my white ass, that sort of thing?
How shall we know? How shall we know, Atalanta, when it is time to march? What if I make the mistake that he... Hush, Atalanta said. We will not speak of it now. Numenor raised his left foreleg to strike the ground, then visibly restrained himself. Where is that jewel right? He trumpeted. I command that you appear! Atalanta looked at him, a grave expression in her eyes. He could command all he liked, the Golden One. But the Jewelright listened to his own music and played his own tune.
No, it's when Rainbow Dash goes emo. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I thought the Dark Side of the Rainbow is when you watch Wizard of Oz while listening to Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. That'd be a trippy experience.
I found the end of this a little bit interesting because it's like, even though that they are mates, like they are supposed to be like in love with each other, this kind of feels like Atalanta is like looking down on Numenor. Like,
it feels motherly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, you know, we already got horse on girl implications. You know, why not add this into the mix? Let's just
I guess
pile this shit on with all the weird implications in this book.
Yeah.
Also, that was the entire chapter? Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Blink and it's gone.
God damn. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, if you put this in bad fanfiction night, that'd be a short session, wouldn't it?
Like, it was such a worthless chapter. If you just removed that, literally nothing would change.
Yeah, this one's getting hold.
Oh dear. We
You
are
died.
losing Kaiser.
Wait,
So,
Are you back?
Yeah, you're back now, apparently.
wait, hello. Okay, I was just saying, yeah, this one's getting memory hold.
Yeah.
Twi was right. We did not need that.
Yeah. The fourth day at the inn in Lucken dragged on. Finally, just as the sun was setting, a little old man plodded up to the inn on an incredibly ancient unicorn. It was a mare, but an old mare. Older than her master, it seemed. Both of them had hair sticking out of their ears, grisly beards, and sway backs.
Wait, do mares? She can have a beard? What? The unicorn has a beard? I guess?
Unicorns have beards, Raymond. That's kind of their thing.
Okay. I actually can't tell if you're fucking with me or not right now.
No! All of the ancient, like, art in tapestries featuring unicorns feature them with beards, Raymond.
I did not know that. I'm not as familiar on unicorn lore. It's like the question of, like, do dwarf women have beards? And it's like, I don't know, do they? I don't know.
Well, now you know. But like it's not really mentioned in this book all that much, which is weird. But then again, like, these unicorns in this book are just horses, but fancy and with horns stuck, like, plastered onto their heads. Whereas, like, unicorns in mythology are more closely related to deers. They have cloven hooves. Horses don't have cloven hooves. They're ungulates.
Okay.
Whereas these are cervids.
So I was gonna say, like, the other comment I had is I was really waiting for this unicorn to, like, turn towards the screen and just be like, you can stop laying it on so thick. I get it. I'm old.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, that actually goes back to the reason why I highlighted this, is that I think that Minge the Jewelright is the Tom Bombadil of this story. And the unicorn that he's actually riding is the fucking unicorn god, the old mare of the mountain.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah.
Not unicorn god, different god.
Yeah.
Gotta specify, I guess.
The actual one on 2 legs, not 4.
No, we learned that unicorns can stand on 2 legs. It's fine, remember? They can rear back. They can just hold that pose for a long period of time.
Well.
They can sing.
So, like, it's not stated in this book, which I find really interesting, because it's actually one of the rare moments where it's left up to your imagination of, like, you're free to speculate that this mare that he's riding might be the old mare of the mountain.
This is a circumstance where you're free to speculate, as opposed to all the other situations where you must speculate.
Yes.
Totally.
Yes. But he sits himself in the inn, and because this is a children's book, they cannot reference alcohol. You want coffee? What do you think I want? River water?
Yes.
So apparently, he's very good friends with Genderbent you, Raymond.
Oh God! All right. I'm torn whether or not to joke whether he's sleeping with the young barmaid or sleeping with the fucking unicorn god. Knowing this book, it might be both.
Yeah.
May I see it? No.
But she directs Minge over to the main characters, who have been patiently waiting for this man for 4 days. Minge ambled over. He wore baggy pants, a floppy hat, and a patched gray shirt. "Hey," he said. "Hey yourself," Lori replied. She looked at Aerie. Aerie looked at her. They both burst into giggles.
Okay.
I guess just him coming over and saying hey, and him looking scruffy is funny to them.
Damn, so we're just ageist now. Forget being just waitress
I guess
before. Now we're just ageist again. Okay.
And I just highlighted this because it's a really weird phrase. Tired food.
Tired food.
Yeah.
Is that an actual turn of phrase? Nope. No, it is not. Okay.
Well,
just want to double check on that, because there are some weird phrases out in the world.
Well, that's apparently what Minge smells like. Tobacco, sweat, and tired food.
Did you think the word expired
Tired
was like, or like sour or something like that was too complicated for kids to... What does that mean?
Spoiled, I guess. It's tired food.
It's like an apple wearing a nightcap and like little striped pajamas. What is a tired food?
Is it? I was about to say, is it freaking chicken nuggies with freaking sweatpants? Like, what is that?
The off hours chicken nuggies.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, without another word, well, actually with a couple of words, but I'm not going over them. They talk about, they just hand the pieces of horn and the jewel to Minge. He tottered back to his bench, where the red-haired serving girl stood with a tankard of coffee.
Jesus Christ, a tankard of coffee?
Yeah.
If you want to be wired all night, I guess.
You could just say grape juice, and it would have been fine.
Yeah, but no, it's
just
like because you can't have alcohol in this book, so it can't be mead. So I guess the only option left is coffee. Because apparently you have something tropical like coffee beans in this world.
Well, we learned it's just so easy to get access to those from Assassin. From Assassin and Isekai. We learned that fact. You can just get chocolate.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just get them randomly. You know, don't have to go any regions or build any actual world building.
Best part of waking up is Minge having a cup.
Also, I love how this is like less thought out than the fucking 4Kids version of One Piece, for fuck's sake. Because even they thought, okay, let's just replace the alcohol, the freaking wine with grape juice.
Yeah. I love the unicorns and Lou have a free trade agreement. Anyway.
Oh god fucking damn
it. He sat down close to Aerie. He held his hand out. The jewel in his left hand, the horn on the right. Slowly, he brought his hands closer together. A puff of crimson smoke escaped from his clasped palms. He opened his hands. The jewel held the half horn like a candlestick holds a candle.
Wait, okay, so I thought the gems were below the horns. They weren't part of the horn assembly, for lack of a better term. But now we're learning that it's the base of the horn?
I guess so.
Have I just been misunderstanding that? I thought it was bottom, not base, but I guess I could have misheard that.
At least, like, based off of the cover art for the original, like, actual paperbacks of the book, it seems like the jewel is at the base of the horn, kind of like dangling around, and then there's like a beads around the horn.
But it's not coming out of the gem.
No.
That's what I'm imagining with this.
Yeah, it's very weird.
It's like a candlestick holds a candle. What kind of candlestick? What kind of candle? There's a lot of those.
I'm going to assume like one of those really old ones that you would carry around with you.
There's quite a few designs of those. Like, I mean, I know it's not
the ones that look like gravy cups.
Yeah. It's either that or just like, you know, a candlestick, but I don't think the gem is like, you know, half a foot tall. So
Dakota wishes that Mercury was voiced by David Moo.
Yeah. Wait.
You want Mercury to sound like Zelos?
Wait, which Mercury? What?
Probably Ruby, because Dakota's been kind of talking about Ruby this entire time.
Okay, all right. 4Kids Sanji, who then voices Zelos. Okay.
Oh my god, that'd be so funny.
Honestly, I could see it.
I only know David Moo as the voice of Zelos. I don't care about anyone else that he's voice acting.
Frankly speaking, though, I see Zelos. He could just have to lower his voice a little bit, and I think he could actually play a really good Mercury. Better than Yuri fucking Lowenthal, who just stakes out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I told you this before, but when it came to the very beginning of the podcast that I have with Robbie that we still need to finish watching those episodes for, Raymond. We had the other guy that was in it, and he wanted to just randomly have celebrity guests on our show as podcasters.
Yeah, like that's gonna turn.
You gotta work up to that. Like you can't just cold start and expect celebrities to pop on your show unless you've got Dosh. Like that's the caveat. You need either funding or popularity to get those things. You can't just start off with that. I mean, the highest caliber of people that we've got on our show is Ant, who's decent size, but like, you know, it's not like we're not shooting above our belt. I'm actually trying to get someone who's actually relatively larger than us for next week, but you know, that might not pan out. We'll see. It might be too small for him to care about.
Yeah, it's the same thing with like the New Types podcast. Like we invited the highest profile person we ever invited onto the show was Shaves, or Caribou Coon, as some might know of him. But that's mostly because like we were already friends with him before that point, and he wanted in on the show anyway. So
yeah, and like I feel like that's what Ruby did. Like Rooster Teeth was just like, well, we want to be seen as a valid a valid company and a valid anime. So let's hire. Yeah, so let's hire expensive, legitimate voice actors from who get hired by Funimation.
Yeah.
Nathan Fillion would not be a better Mercury. That is a miscast.
Who's Nathan Fillion?
Malcolm Reynolds from Firefly, Buck from Halo ODST. I'm trying to think of what else I know him from. He was the main villain in the Percy Jackson film.
That guy. Okay,
Yeah.
I was blanking with the other one.
or he played the father of the main villain from that. That's what I meant. Hermes.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just like you don't like Nathan Fillion. Don't bring him in the RWBY, man. He doesn't deserve that. He's also his voice is aging. He's a little bit older now. He doesn't fit a kid in Mercury's age. Anyway. And there's the Genlock VA mess. Yes, thank you, Isa. We
don't even get started with that.
Why would you bring that up, Isa?
No, but we appreciate it though. We appreciate the thought and the cash.
It does. It did happily confirm for me that I wasn't super impressed with what's his face's acting in like anything I've seen of him. The guy that what's his name? Michael B. Jordan. I wasn't exactly thrilled with him in a lot of what I've seen him in.
Anyway, Raymond.
Yeah. Sorry.
We've been on this tangent long enough. The great stallion's coat was dull, his eyes remote. When Aerie tried to talk to him now, he listened with a puzzled air, as if hearing the murmur of wind or water. If she had any doubts about restoring his horn to him, they were long past. Well, I'm glad that was only spoken about for like 1 or 2 times in passing. That she was worried about him changing when he got his horn back.
Yeah, such great development, guys.
Also, there's no period at the end of that sentence.
I know. She couldn't stand to see him in this way. Well now, Minge said. Well now. He eased himself through the paddock gate and walked up to Chase. He passed his left hand over the stallion's face, and then put his right hand on the white scar. He stepped back. Chase shook his head, bewildered. He opened his eyes. He looked full at Aerie, his eyes dark and full of feeling. And then he spoke to her, his voice strong and resonant with feeling. "Milady," he said, "I have returned to you."
Good. I'm glad that was a problem that we had for literally all of like 2 fucking chapters.
I know.
Also, feeling
not
and
even
feeling
2 chapters.
between 2 sentences of each other, used the exact same way.
At the exact same point.
His eyes were dark and full of feeling, and then he spoke to her, his voice strong and full of feeling.
His eyes were full of feeding, yes. He was looking at that hay bale.
He hasn't eaten in 5 days.
So, we got the majority of the problem done. We have, like, the last 5% left to do.
Gotta get that the tip of the horn and then get it glued onto the horn. That's like, so is it like, thank God they're only missing the tip of the horn, right? Like that would be a real fucking problem.
No, I think it's part of the base of the horn, actually.
Oh, so the horn's not even attached.
It sort of is. It's like half attached.
Oh, is it like, I'm trying to think of like the example of like something that kind of like it's like a scab that's like partially peeling off. It's like you kind of want to kind of scratch at it, but you really shouldn't.
Yeah, it's like a vase, but with a hole in it. Like the majority of it is there, but you just have this hole in the middle of the vase.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Clouds obscured the moon outside the Sunchaser's paddock. Aerie walked as silently as she could. Dr. Bones had made her take off her riding boots, too noisy, and the noise might attract the enemy, and replace them with soft sandals.
What? Since when has that been a concern?
She is sneaking off.
No, but that's
They're
you were chased by birds. The thing you need to worry about is sight with them.
yeah. So they finally, now that the horn has been restored to him, they are finally going for the last piece of the puzzle that is Chase's horn. Even though that I'm not sure what the problem is at this point, other than, I guess, a completionist look. Because his horn seems to function perfectly well incompleted.
I was gonna say, Twi,
no-
we need to get that platinum achievement trophy, all right?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Because, like, it's not like he's still going to lose his speech just because his horn is incomplete. Like, no, his speech and his cognitive functioning has been fully restored to him. It's just that he has a bump in his horn that they need filling.
I guess they need his magic to return, although so far unicorn magic has not exactly wowed me.
No. The problem with this is that it's a soft magic system, but and I'm not trying to say that soft magic systems are inherently bad. I'm just saying that the main problem that I have with soft magic systems is that it's very easy for somebody to be lazy with it and just say, I don't have to figure out the underlying mechanics of this magic system. I can just not do anything with it at all and just say it's magic. And then the rules can be as inconsistent because I don't fucking care.
Yeah, it makes it way too easy for just it to become the bullshit machine. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Random bullshit,
like,
go!
Because, like, the Lord of the Rings has a very famously soft magic system, but Tolkien still did the work to do the underlying mechanics of the magic system. It's just that he didn't put those details into the work, which is what makes it soft. But if he had put all of the details of that magic system into the main stories and not just in the Silmarillion, it would be an incredibly hard magic system.
Yeah, it's like, it is functionally a hard magic system, or should I say, it is in the background a hard magic system, but he portrays it as a soft one because that is how the characters view it.
Yeah. And that's how soft magic systems should work. You should always make a hard magic system, but then how much of that you put on the page determines whether or not it's a hard magic system or not in the end. That is how a good magic system should be built regardless. But I don't think that that's what she did here. I'm pretty sure that she's just like, I'm going to say this because that's what I wanted to happen, and I'm not going to put a single thought to this magic system.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Yeah. The moonlight glimmered softly off the horn of his forehead. She could see the jagged edge where the final piece would go. If they found it. If they returned alive. Chase bent and breathed into her hair. Aerie slipped her arms around his neck. We go for the rest of your horn tonight, she said into his ear. And it's a terribly dangerous thing to do. I am with you, milady. As always. Just a very sensual scene between the two of them.
Yep. Look, I'm all bestiality joked out. So I'm just,
You're just like, yeah.
Yeah. Look, she's fucking the horse. We all know that.
Right. Sure, you know, Vosh bad. We get it. Anyway,
yeah.
Let's move on.
So she's going to tie a sack around his legs in order to muffle the sound of his hooves. So, for the rest of this book, he is wearing sack booties.
Kaijugon, so basically hive magic from Destiny. I don't know jack shit about Destiny, but it's probably somewhere in that Grim War that was online that you had to go outside of the game to research. So maybe.
Oh.
Yeah, Destiny. I really love how someone was like, I got you. The Dark Souls lore is bullshit because it's just like the Destiny lore, and the Destiny lore everyone notoriously hated. And I'm like, no, people like the Destiny lore.
No.
People hated having to go to an outside source of the game to research it. You can find all the
at least with shit with
all the Dark Souls information is in the fucking game. You just have to find the items and look at their tags. That's all you have to do. You don't have to go outside onto a website somewhere else. Yeah, Destiny 2 fixed that. Yeah. That's why people like Destiny 2. All that does is
just make that process, easier.
So, this next bit is just reiterating that her legs are still not fully healed. He lifted his forefoot immediately and rested it on her bended knee. She worked rapidly, not wanting him to know how painful it was to her scarred muscles. Also, her being a bit of a martyr as well. Because I told you that she was... I told you that she was very much a martyr. Unicorns, like horses, were very vulnerable to swollen legs if their hooves were wrapped too tight. She muffled all 4 hooves in turn, then straightened up with a sigh. Dr. Bones had wanted to massage her legs. She had missed her regular sessions. There just wasn't time.
I like the idea she goes around to each and every single leg and she just like takes a volume slider and slides it down. It's on like on the side of the leg. It's like muted. There we go.
I just like this first sentence because it's very blatant. It's like, yeah, you did literally just take a horse and then paste a horn onto it. Thank you for just directly saying that out loud.
Confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
No clickbait.
So, they start to move out, and you must be silent, she had said. The shifter's beings are all around your old home.
Entia, the shifter, our enemy?
Home, Aerie thought. Am I really headed home? She couldn't call it home again. Not until her parents were restored to their thrones. Not until she and the Sunchaser walked the palace gardens together. Until then, it was the Shifter's palace they journeyed to, not home.
That's a terrible way to look at things, but also, like, maybe you could look at it more as home after you get your fucking memories back better, eventually.
Yeah.
But, like,
for real.
No, don't be like, oh, it's the Shifter's. No, it's my fucking palace. Give it back, bitch.
Yeah, like,
exactly.
you would think that there would be more of an emotional connection that we could make if she remembered that it was technically home, even if it felt foreign, and it angers her that the Shifter has taken it over and is using it as his palace.
Especially, it especially works with, like, the freaking, the idea that, like, oh, Entia was the one who had taken her memories, what, and this is another thing that he has taken away from her life.
What I was gonna say, like, they could have been seeding this so early with her, like, dreaming about this castle when she's on Earth. Like, her, like, having moments of, like, remembering these, like, little memories and things slipping through, and, like, she becomes super wistful and, like, hungry to visit these memories again and again because, like, her real life isn't satisfying her, and she only realizes later it's because it's the life she doesn't belong to. She wants the one that she does.
Yeah. So we get this weird bit where they're traveling along the path to out of the village to the main road to Balinor, which is just a weird sentence because I thought we already were in Balinor, but now we're traveling to Balinor. What is going on?
We're obviously heading to Balinor, the county now.
Yeah, I guess so. Like they just say like these random things like Hellion, the manor of the house of the fifth lord, and then down the valley the palace lay beside the river Fallow.
Wait.
And then
that's a bad. Why would you name the river Fallow? What the fuck's wrong with you? That's a bad thing. It's like naming a river Death.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I remember. It's right next to the river Pestilence. It's like, okay, do you know a clean place to get water? Well, what's wrong with river Pestilence? It's like mostly the name.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. There's also River Ebola.
So, they had to...
River Styx. River Styx is called that because it was a river named Styx, and it got its reputation after it was named Styx.
Yes.
It's the river of the underworld.
Yeah, like, and there are different river Styxes all throughout mythology. Like, Tawny, the river Tawny, that is another river to the underworld in I think, is it Norse mythology or is it I think it's in Norse mythology. It is a river of the dead. It leads to the underworld.
For the record, the word Styx means shuddering. So it's not like it's a negative term. Shuddering is just like a body action. Your body is shuddering, or something is shuddering. Something is shifting, kind of undulating. Like maybe a river would do. So I don't know. It's not really a gotcha. So it's also a goddess, for the record.
Yeah. So they have to hide a couple of times from passers-by on their road to the castle, and this is giving me very Zelda vibes, which...
Oh, absolutely. This is like outside of Ganon's castle in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. Or like I know that it's like decades later, but like Breath of the Wild, where you can just leave the beginning area and then immediately go to the castle. That's what this is. Will we hide or fight? Easy, Chase. I hope we won't have to fight tonight. If we do, she didn't want to think about it. She and Dr. Bones had discussed the best way to retrieve the remainder of Chase's horn for hours. Finally, Aerie had won the argument. The two of them must go alone. That way, they had the best chance of remaining hidden, and find the final piece and slipping away into the night. Which, fair argument.
Well, no. Like, if we do, you better have a plan about fighting. If you have to fight, you have to fight.
What?
That is like, you can't just run into a situation being like, well, if we have to fight, I don't want to think about it. No, if you have to fight, you better at least have some idea of what you're going to do, even it's as simple as, like, I will pull out my dagger and stab someone. Like,
well, yeah, but what's going on here is, like, they're hiding at the moment from soldiers of the Shifter or whatever, or potentially people who are aligned with the Shifter who are walking down the road. They're hiding from them, and Chase is like, should we kill him? And Aerie's like, no, we can hide.
Well, I'm totally with that. Like, I hope you won't have to fight tonight. Easy, Chase. I hope you won't have to fight tonight. That's fine. Yeah. If we do, and it's like, she's implying that, like, oh, but if we do have to fight, and then she's like, I don't want to think about it. It's like, no, you should be thinking about this. This should be in the back of your mind constantly to be like, I really don't want to do this. it's a bad idea, but like if I have to, I will have to.
Yeah.
Ari needs to shank a bitch is what I'm saying.
So the second time, Ari is the one that pulls them into the bushes, and Chase says that he doesn't hear anything, and she says, I don't hear anything either, I just feel it. In her bones, I guess. The back of her neck prickled. A cold wind stirred. She stared up at the moon. Clouds were forming overhead, thick and sullen. The wind picked up and stirred her hair with cold, cold fingers. She scanned the sky and then jerked in alarm. There! There it was! A huge shadow crossed the moon, dimming its bright face. The shape was... what? She was afraid to look, but she didn't dare look away. A winged horse. No, a unicorn. Blacker than the night sky, with burning sockets where its eye should be. The shifter's eye. Looking for them.
It's just Luna from My Little Pony. That's just just her,
Yeah. I think this is actually a character that is going to mainly feature in the 4th book.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm assuming though.
Also, can we appreciate how fucking strong Ari apparently is? I mean, she's the one that like dove into the mud to pull out a fucking horse. Like,
yeah.
Like, I don't care if the other people were pulling the rope. You have to hold on to the fucking horse.
Yeah.
And then now she's the one that pulled them into the brush to hide. I know you probably steered him, but like...
Yeah, steering him.
The way you worded it, it's like, just grab him anime style and like do that thing where they you know what I'm trying to describe it. You know what I'm trying to say, right? Where like they blur, they smudge it.
Smear.
Yeah.
Or that picture that I had at the beginning of my Digimon video, with that person carrying a statue of a horse, so it looks like they just have an entire ass horse hoisted up on their shoulder.
Yeah. Especially with her broken legs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, no, that should have been a big thing in the mud section. She shouldn't have been able to do that. It should have been Lori that needed to go in.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it should have needed to be Lori to go in and pull out Toby, and then at the end it's Ari that offers to clean her hair, and you could have Lori like kind of breaking down over how everything is just fucked up around her, and she doesn't know what's happening. That would have been so good.
Yeah. Ooh, I wish that I could put that in my story, but I can't.
You're in too deep. Okay.
No, it's just like
Lori dies a horrible death. I'm kidding.
Sorry?
I was saying, no, it's just that Lori who dies a horrible death in your book. That's no.
Oh no, it's because I created a brand new character that is just inserted in there. So instead of 2 humans going into the gap, there are 3 of them. So it's like that person would probably do all of this.
Well,
instead.
It doesn't mean that Lori couldn't help.
Yeah.
And the idea of like, get the hell in here, Lori, whoever this third person is, get the hell in here. I can't do this alone. I need someone else's backing me up on this.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, the terrible shadow moved back and forth, slowly sweeping across the moon, and then it's gone. Night sounds returned to normal. The squeak of small mice in the grass, the whoop of a night bird hunting.
Squeak, squeak, squeak.
Squeak,
squeak. No bugs?
Sorry?
No bugs? That's what you normally hear. It's bugs.
Yeah, I don't know. The main reason why I highlighted that is because it's going to be important in the next book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, not sure how, but all right.
So they make their way into the valley. A cluster of houses and shops lay just outside the palace grounds. Some of the royal household lived there, the farrier who shod the unicorns, the tailor in charge of the seamstresses, who made the royal family's clothes. It's implied that there are still people here. Houses and shops were silent and dark. No one dares to go abroad at night now, Lord Lexon had said, that long ago day at the Unicorn Inn, except in armed groups. And it was so. If anyone behind the barricaded doors heard them pass, they wouldn't come out. Too many evil things stalked the night. You live right outside the castle where the evil creature lives, who has taken over the palace. You just still live there.
Okay, but
50
hear me
feet
out.
away.
Hear
Great
me out.
plan.
This is still premium real estate, and they got a fucking bargain for it.
God
There is
damn
no
it.
way they're letting that slip from their hands. All right, they're fully like, you know what? I don't care if our new neighbor is a little noisy, he causes some problems and ruckus. Sure, it's lowering our land value a little bit, but I'm sure eventually they'll move on. They'll find a new place they want to hang out, and our property value will skyrocket.
Yeah, but these
Oh,
people aren't
yeah.
living there because they happened to find it. They lived there because they worked in the palace. Why are they still there?
Yeah, you would think Antia would have captured them by now or something.
Chase stopped short way from the palace. Ari realized with a start that it was small as palaces go. She had been away too long, and had seen too much of the outside world. The twin towers that guarded the front gate loomed much larger in her mind than the reality, and the moat was smaller across than she thought. With care, Chase could jump it. I kind of like this because, like, when you're younger, everything looks so much bigger than it is. But I guess when you're older and I guess more world weary, as little as that is, I guess, for Ari currently.
I was gonna say this leans more into my theory that she was supposed to be younger at the start, or she was supposed to be younger in Earth time.
Yeah.
Also, you don't want to jump it; you want to go in it. The horn is in the water, right?
We don't know.
I thought they said that it fell in the moat.
Yeah,
Something like
yeah.
that.
Oh my god, they kind of forgot, didn't they?
So, they arrive at the moat, and Ari is afraid. A yellow-green light glowed from a window in the peak of the castle. That had been her parents' quarters. The light was sickly, disgusting. She knew who lived there now.
Just Entia up there. Dear diary, today I met the most wonderful baker. She said that she was holding out for her land to be worth something when I move away. But I told her, I moved in to lower the land value so I could build my new mall megaplex where this castle stands. My evil plan is coming together. Love Entia. The shifter, our enemy.
I love that you added that, but also the little kiss at the end.
And he just kisses it with his eye.
So there's apparently a sentry coming closer. She does some horse things, and then she jumps the moat. For a moment, they hung suspended over the moat.
Really poor choice of words. She did some horse things. I thought I had run out of innuendo, but you know what? You can never keep a good dog out of the game. I can't remember what the phrase is, but I know the
Can't
intent.
take the dog down.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. It's just like she flexed her right calf, raised her right rein, broke into a canter. Horse things.
Robbie, I was trying to channel Alfred Ashford. That's it. Alfred Ashford from Code Veronica. It's me, Alfred Ashford of the Ashford family. Yes. Oh. By the way, look up this. The cutscenes to Resident Evil Code Veronica are they're a treat, man. They're hilarious.
I was about to say, I've seen a compilation of that character before. It's so fucking hilarious.
I unironically love him. He's so camp. Anyway.
She bit back a yell. Out of the corner of her eye, she caught a glimpse of a scaly back, a gruesome tentacle. So they land on the other side of the moat, and then Aerie melts them into the shadows, I guess. Who goes there? The voice was grating. Whoever it was breathed like a hissing snake. I said, who goes there? Garn! Another voice, higher, but still as sibilant. Yet another really complicated word for this age range.
Sibilant? What the fuck does that mean?
It's like resonant, or clear. It's like a it's a tone of voice, not tone. It's a texture of voice.
Yeah. Now, I actually don't mind a few complicated words scattered in this because this actually teaches children
that's how they learn.
to read these words. Yeah.
Sure.
So I'm not mad that these words are in there. I'm just surprised that she would put the effort to do that.
I was wrong on the definition. Making or characterized by a hissing sound, sounding with a hissing effect, for example, or sh, a sibilant speech sound. Okay, that's not. I learned. See, I am one of those 5-year-olds.
Yeah, we're all 5 on some level.
You find something? Dunno, said the voice above her. She felt, rather than saw, a pair of red coal eyes peer over the edge of the wall. Maybe it's Cistern. Yo, Cistern! Want a nighttime snack? Something flew off the castle wall and landed in the moat with a splash. The water erupted with a roar. A scaly head rose from the moat. Aerie couldn't see it as much as smell it. Hot breath like a stinking furnace. Scaly arms, with claws at the end, flailed in the air. There was a gulp, and whatever the guard threw over the wall was gone.
That was actually pretty tense. I actually quite liked that.
Yeah. You got any more of what you threw to her? It's been dead a while, the guard said doubtfully, but yeah. I'm a bit hungry too. I think I'll go get some. Don't you eat all of it, you hear? I'll eat what I can before you get there.
I like these guards. I actually want to see more of them.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we gotta move on. So, now that the guards are gone, Aerie is going to frantically look for the horn in this darkness. She's glad that they can still communicate without words, despite the fact that he's mostly regained his powers. She kept her eye on the jewel at the base of Chase's horn. It will warm, Dr. Bones had said, when you are close to the missing piece of the horn. It's literally a game of, like...
Hot potato. No, it's not hot potato. It's
yeah.
Hot or cold.
Hot, cold.
Yeah. Like, those games... It reminds me of, like, Pokemon, where you have, like, the item finder.
Yeah, fuck that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the freaking metal detector ass shit. Yeah, I didn't like that.
Yeah. Chase jigged impatiently under her. He hated moving slowly. It wasn't in his nature. You must let me walk on. Aerie couldn't speak out loud. She kept light, firm hands on the reins. He bulked. She flexed the reins. Right, left, right, left. He half reared, then plunged forward. She loved Chase's proud spirit, but now was not the time. She did what she'd never done before and jerked hard on the reins. There was no bit in his mouth, but she knew to him that it was a punishment, and she would fight him. The ruby flared hot on Chase's forehead. He leaped forward with an eager whinny. It was loud. Too loud. Aerie gasped in fear.
I mean, that's character. I don't... What was wrong with that?
Oh, like it's character for Chase, and that's partially why I highlighted it. But the second reason why I highlighted it was because Chase, you're a fucking idiot.
Oh yeah, no, sorry. At this point, I accept that everyone's a fucking idiot. I guess it's just like it's passing me by now. It's like, okay, I guess we'll just.
Sorry.
What?
Yeah, it's like, you know that you're deep within enemy
Twilight,
territory. What?
Oh, I was about to say that again. For some reason, you cut out on my end. I didn't get.
It's the other way around, buddy. I think you're the one.
Yeah. He's just an idiot. You're deep within enemy territory. You just got past these two guards talking right over you, and yet you're wanting to like run around, and then because you got punished, you whinnied very, very loudly. Like, my dude, don't optics, man. Still though, it is good character for Chase, even though that he was a fucking idiot.
I mean, it could be built
Sure.
like you could build to this point where he just keeps getting more and more frustrated. They have to be quiet and sneaking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. But she didn't do that.
There's a lot of things she didn't do.
Yeah, no. So because he whinnied really loudly, the guards obviously heard him, because why wouldn't they? She reached up and felt the ruby, stone cold. She started forward, her hand on the jewel. The jewel heated up. It was like some mad game of blind man's bluff. She couldn't see. The stallion blundered along behind her, seeking the lost piece of horn as frantically as she did. The torches flared along the castle wall. Shouts, curses, oaths steamed from the running guards. The jewel flared hot and wild. Aerie stumbled and threw her hand out to break her fall. Gravel slid underneath her hand. She fumbled desperately, her heart thudding. And there it was. There it was, warm under her hand, the final spiral stone.
So, for months, this thing has just been sitting in the fucking gravel outside of the castle, within full view of the battlements.
Yep.
I thought it had fallen into the fucking moat,
Yeah,
which would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's the way that they described it before. I'm pretty sure.
Also, like, how did the piece get all the way over there? Like, I would assume that this is like, this is along the moat, so there would be a drawbridge, and the drawbridge would be up, but
and it would be right across from the castle gates at minimum, if not built into them.
Yeah,
Right.
so like how far along and away from the actual drawbridge would this horn piece be?
And also, then, how did the other 3 horn pieces wind up so fucking far from the castle? Like, I know that they got transported by other characters, but, like, at what point did they retrieve them from this fucking place, if at all, if they weren't just magically transported somewhere else?
Yeah, and because it just seems like it's so easy for other people to go to this place and just retrieve these very important things. So why was it just that this piece was left behind?
Well, I was about to get worse.
Yeah.
Oh god.
So she's trying to get Chase to bend down. The guards had heard her speak. The great horse bent his neck. Trembling, she fit the spiral stones together. And there was a burst of rainbow light. It arched high and wide, tumbling the astonished guards back on their heels. It arched to the stars and back again, lighting the countryside like the most brilliant display of fireworks ever seen. It lit the guards, short, misshapen gnomes with blackened faces and wild white eyes. It lit up the great bronze horse himself. And then, he was a horse no more. His horn sprang from his forehead like a beautiful spear. The ruby glowed at its base.
Oh, you've got to read the best part where he yelled, "Ariana, come to me," after his horn became fully extended.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining that in like freaking what's his name? Patrick Bateman, not Patrick Bateman. I think that's his name.
What the
His
the
freaking
guy-
Batman voice.
Oh no, Patrick Bateman is the guy who
Christian
played in
Bale.
American Psycho.
Yeah, Christian Bale. My bad.
Patrick Bateman just walks up like, I'll tell you, unicorns, they don't make them like they used to. I'm more of a fan of the 1950s versions of them, where they were tall, proud, magnificent monsters. Modern unicorns, they just don't quite lack the grandeur they once did. Most starting off not even as unicorns, but as fancy horses more than anything else. They don't even have cloven hooves. He just starts like hacking apart the author of this book, like he's like just like he's in a shovel or something on her. Just like
Yeah, that's so funny. I'm sorry for that flub, but yeah, freaking Christian Bale, my bad. This freaking Batman voice. Ariana, come to me.
So
you have to get like completely unintelligible at some point with it.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So now that he is fully a unicorn again, now he can finally like he do attack.
Oh my
He
god,
do
it's
an
that
attack.
Fairly Odd Parents
He
meme.
goes Super
I can
Saiyan.
see. I can fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god, Ariana, you're about to see a whole bunch of impalement.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
He turned on the gnome guards and scattered them with quick thrusts of his warrior horn.
All right, I'm out. I'm out. Too easy. Too easy. All right. That's not fair.
now it's
All right.
too
That's
easy.
not fair.
Now it's too easy.
Like, I mean, come on. One of the most common
Really?
descriptions in bad smut is he thrust forward with his purple warrior. Like, that's like, it's like just one phrase away.
Okay.
Oh!
Yeah.
The purple.
That is
Of all the
Precisely.
times, now it's too easy.
precisely the reason why I highlighted that.
Twy, you've read other
fucking
unicorn books,
pause,
right? Are
pause.
they anywhere near as
Damn.
suggestive as this?
No.
Has this woman written adult smut before?
I don't know if there is smut in her adult books
We
because
might
I haven't read them.
we might have to look those up because, like, I wonder if like that she just can't help herself.
Maybe.
Yes, we might need to do some research in the background.
Don't make it sound like that. Don't. Anyway, I'm
Oh,
gonna use the
shush.
restroom. I'll be right back. Twy, let's try and get through this last chapter. This swift pace.
Okay. The guards scattered like leaves before the storm of the Lord of the Unicorn's wrath.
Oh my lord.
Oh, she is just like masturbating this fucking unicorn.
What the fuck? Okay. Anyways.
So I think they leaped back over the moat and now they're running away. Ari bent low over the neck of her racing stallion, afraid to look behind. There were grotesque guards of the palace. Following? Moonlight glinted off of Chase's horn. If they did follow, if they did try to pull her from the stallion's back, if she had to fight again, it was worth it.
What the fuck?
The two sentences.
They're just laying all of this on really thick, aren't they?
Oh yeah. Like he has been restored to full manhood, this stallion. And you gotta emphasize that he is a stallion.
Oh god. By the way,
I was gonna say something else
I'm
that
in the
was really
bathroom. I
bad.
hear that. I fucking. You're just like, oh, she is masturbating this unicorn. It's like, oh my god. What the
Yeah, you can't blame me for this one.
It's like you said, it's so easy. Like, you can't help but read into it. Ugh.
I'm surprised. No, that I think that joke could work, but no, that I feel like that would go too far. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
His iron hooves had lashed out again and again. He had used his horn like a sword, thrusting and shoving the scar-faced gnomes aside. And then they had leaped the moat, springing to freedom, even though they already did leap the moat.
Did they?
Also-
I'm just imagining this whole.
Oh, they did. Oh my god.
Yeah.
You didn't read that
Wow,
section.
that was quick.
Sunchaser leaped the moat.
He's gone
Then they
back.
would leap to the moat.
He's gone back. He needs to rack up a kill count. He's out for blood. It's like we're getting a radically skewed perspective on this. These poor guards, they're just panicking the fuck out right now. They're getting slaughtered in droves. It's like Black Hawk Down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Ari's just probably just hearing freaking "I Need a Hero" in the background throughout all of.
Also, the second time, the second reason why I highlighted that section was because it features my mortal enemy, the unnecessary Hads. His iron hooves had lashed out.
Yeah.
Shoot.
He had used his horn.
Oh god. Oh.
And then they had leapt the moat, springing to freedom. Like, you don't need those Hads at all. It sounds much better if you leave the Hads behind. His iron hooves lashed out again and again. He used his horn like a sword, thrusting and shoving the scar-faced gnomes aside, and then they leaped the moat, springing to freedom. That sounds so much better. Just leave the Hads out. They aren't doing anything to the sentence.
I'm not disagreeing, by the way. Also, so that guy was 3 days from retirement. Now that guy was 3 days from retirement. Now that guy was 3 days from retirement. Yep.
No,
that
the more
was...
guys he kills, like the more days from retirements that they are.
I would love if just like in here there's this like one incredibly adult like passage line of just like, and the man's intestines slid off with a wet plop off the horn or something like that. Like it's
like an Animorphs moment. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like just one moment of high escalation and then just goes back to like this generic bullshit. I'm like, oh, it was intense
Sean,
there for a moment.
You say, to be fair, she's writing for 8-year-olds, half of them which don't know what's going on. Yeah, but the other half do, and that's kind of the problem, because I was part of the other half that kind of knew what was going on. Mm-hmm. And even though that I didn't have the wherewithal or the critical knowledge to understand that the book was bad, I still felt that something was off, despite the fact that I liked the book. And that's partially what led me to becoming as critical as I am now. Because I liked the book, I liked the story, but something bothered me, and I couldn't understand what it was, and it wasn't until I got older that I understood why. It's because this book has so much to it that's just not very good, and that's honestly why I think that you shouldn't use the excuse of books are allowed to be bad because they're made for dumbass children.
Anyway, we should start really getting through this. We still have 100 pages to get through.
No, we don't. That's not 100 pages.
Well,
say 1283, 1305.
No, but I mean it's like 100 pages on this. That's still like what? Something like 6 flips of the page, something like that.
Something like that, yeah. We must get to the village. His voice was deep like a bell, but he was very close to exhaustion. She'd forgotten what his voice sounded like. All those long months she hadn't known who he was. All those long months he couldn't speak. Except he's been speaking for the past, day?
Yeah, what did he sound like before? What did it had like freaking TV scratch or something like that?
It's
You know
Bumblebees
what I'm
talking
talking
through radio.
about. Was it like oh fuck.
Fair enough, Sean. The talking about the sexual innuendo, but uh, yeah, it's just it doesn't need to be written that way to be unintentional sexual innuendo. Like it, I'm pretty sure that was not intentionally written into the book, but it was written in a way that it still can be very easily interpreted as such. Come on, Chase. Walk, please. Walk. He slowed down. She could feel him trembling. He stopped. Walk on, Chase. Be quiet, Ariana, and listen. I want to know if we are being followed. Just for a moment, Chase. You are too wet to stand in this breeze. You have to keep moving to cool off.
What?
Listen to this terrible dialogue.
Look, Ariana, I know you feel guilty for getting him riled up, but it's not like he's like, what is he wet from?
Sweat from running, I guess.
I guess.
But like when moving make him sweat more. I don't.
Yeah, he's been galloping, I'm assuming, this entire time, and she's telling him to stop and slow down so that he can cool off. And he's like, but we're being chased. And she's like, yeah, but I can't fucking carry you back to the village. You're much bigger than me.
Or can she?
Or can she?
Oh my god.
John, also, Raymond phrasing. That phrasing was intentional. You haven't realized by now that phrasing was intentional. If I make an unintentional innuendo, I usually point it out.
But yeah, they talk again for a while, and then he reminds her to shut the fuck up. Your ears are better than mine. Suddenly, a shriek split the air. A cry of terror. In the west, a dark shadow rose above the tops of the trees. It was huge. It blotted out the moon. Aerie gasped and bent over Chase's neck to hide his long mane. Look up, he said. His voice was kind but firm. And see what happens to those who fail the Shadow King. Aerie forced her eyes open. If Dr. Bones was right, if she really was the princess, then she had to face the unfaceable. The giant shadow circled the trees. Beneath the terrifying spread of those wings, she saw a tiny figure dangling. The shriek came again, more faintly now. And then the little figure dropped, spun away, falling out of sight. The cry was cut off abruptly.
It sounded like a stock sound, like one that got overused in several thousand films.
And TV shows, and even, I think, a musical or two.
Imagine if it was the Vine Boom sound effect.
that's the landing.
You said that that you liked those guards. Well, one of those guards is now dead. Sorry, Raymond.
Well, not the big loss. They weren't like the most well, they were just kind of goofy. That's fine.
Yep. One of them, at least. It will never guard the palace gates again. He jerked his muzzle up. Did you hear that? They shut the gates. I think we are safe for now.
Aha, fools! We faked you out. We didn't close the gates. We just made it sound like we did. That seems like a very convoluted plan. Shut up. It worked.
So she forces Chase to cool off, and then they make it back to the inn. She's really, really tired, guys. She really wants to sleep. If only she could sleep, but she has to take care of her boyfriend first.
Right.
And then, everybody is astonished at how amazing and sexy Chase looks now that he is back to his full unicorn glory. Oh my gosh! Laurie's voice was high in excitement. Oh my gosh! I'm sorry. I just can't keep my eyes open. Here, Chase, step outside for a second so they can see your horn. You're kidding, right? Lori was awed. I mean, look at him, Ari. Haven't you ever looked at him? Well, if you've been chased...
Lori, you obviously haven't noticed. She's been looking at him quite a lot. All right? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Lori, I know that you're only just now getting hot and heavy for him, but, you know, Ari's got this leagues ahead of you.
Yeah.
You're just the next
Ari's
mare
just,
in the
no,
herd.
My
Just putting
horse
that out
Jesus. My horse Jesus.
there. All 12 inches of his glorious horn glory.
Only 12?
Well, if you've been chased by trolls and flying monsters and huge squid... Ari stopped herself. She looked at her unicorn. Really looked at him. Even in the darkness of the dirty barn, he glowed like a bronze moon. The elegance in his neck, shoulders, and hindquarters was like the exquisite cut of the ruby jewel.
Ari, don't forget that you're tired. Tired, horny is not a good combination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should call PETA.
He's still, oh yeah, reminder, he is still covered in the blood and sweat and tears of his enemies.
That too.
Yeah. That just adds to his sex appeal.
Such manliness.
Hooves, grunted Dr. Bones. She unwound the muffling sacks from Chase's feet. And this is when you remember that the whole time he had on those booties.
What the fuck?
It's my galoshes.
The burlap seemed to fall away. His hooves were solid bronze. Good, Dr. Bones said. She rapped his right forefoot with her knuckle. Hard as it should be. Excellent.
That one's not on this book. That one's honestly not on the book, but I just honestly I was going for she rapped on it and just the hoof just like disintegrated and it's like, that's not supposed to happen.
No way.
He was taller, surely, and his mane longer. His tail was a silky banner, falling to the ground behind him. His eyes were a deeper brown, almost mahogany.
Mahogany.
But they were the same eyes. Chase's eyes, filled with warmth, understanding, and that unbreakable spirit.
Okay. I just I thought I was prepared, but I really wasn't.
None of us were.
Until I see.
None of us were.
I'm just seeing this and I'm just hearing the lion sleeps tonight.
He snorted and bent.
There we go.
God fucking damn
I
it.
can't remember I have that.
He snorted and bent his great head. She felt his breath in her hair and flung her arms around his neck. No, Ari said. No changes. She kept her head hidden so they couldn't see the tears. He's just the same inside. She fought for control of her voice. So, it's over. And then Dr. Bones tells her, no, fucking ain't, you dumb bitch.
Dakota, Twilight, you're cool, but ASMR reading of horse shipping do not want. Too bad.
No.
That's why you tune in. That's exactly why you come here.
And that's exactly why you tune in. Like, whenever I find a piece of writing that is unintentionally very sensual, I am going to use the most sensual voice that I can muster without cracking a smile. That's how it works here.
Horn pub confirmed.
Horn.
My God, if they just had like, all the unicorns, they go to hang out at the Horn pub. It's like, oh, can I go to the Horn pub? You don't want to go to the Horn pub. That's not the kind of hanging out you think it is.
Ooh. So, Lori says that she's had enough adventure for one lifetime. What is it exactly? Ari asked. Dr. Bones says you've got another quest coming up, right on the heels of this one. Is it exactly? Ari asked. Your scepter, Your Highness.
Oh, don't worry.
Hidden it somewhere.
Don't worry. Chase has got me covered on that.
Yeah.
You thought you were out of gas before, huh?
I just needed a second wind. All right. I just seeing that we're close to the end is giving me a little more energy.
Yeah, for sure. Your scepter,
Pause.
Your Highness. Really? Really, Kaiser?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If he didn't point it out, I wouldn't.
Your scepter, Your Highness. The shifter's hidden it somewhere. And there's no finding the king and queen until you get the scepter back. Scepter? Lori said interestedly. Royal? Yep, Dr. Bones smiled. And it would be the kind of scepter that had jewels on it? Quite a few, as I recall. Lori put her arm around Ari's shoulder. Princess, buddy old pal, she said happily. On with the quest.
Okay, you see, the fun thing is, I could totally imagine this in one of those like low budget shows that you were showing us about your childhood. Like, I could totally see like a child actor like doing the over exaggerated like, I'm gonna put my arm around you, like, buddy, hey, let's go.
Yeah.
I could totally see like a little kid really hamming that up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, this is fine.
Mm-hmm. So that is the end of Book 2, The Sun Chaser's Quest. Woo! We did it!
Yeah.
Freedom! Finally.
Oh.
And all the freaking just the weird horse shit had to get slapped on at the very end just to be sure.
Yeah, I'd say we're adding Lori to the harem. That's the important part about this.
Yeah.
So, what are your guys' overall thoughts so far, now that we are 2 books deep?
This fucking series is awful.
Wait, I have my perfect thoughts for this. There you go.
Oh. I look forward to her penetrating with all her vigor of that scepter in the next chapter. Oh God, no. Look, you gotta be be careful with how you word the innuendo. That's a little too direct. You gotta peel it back and really massage it down until you get the right balance of like, did you mean that? Like you gotta it's like the blink and you miss it type thing.
Pause.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What is this whole pause thing? Are you just like, are you now the main character from Click, which is a reference that no one has made in so long? I've never even seen that film, but it feels like that's kind of what you're Adam Sandlering us.
I'm just saying, the start of that sentence started had a little bit of suspect.
My nephew's dog is named Chase. I can no longer pet him without feeling a dash of shame. Oh,
no!
Oh no!
I'm sorry. You know, I could make several more jokes that would just make it worse, but I'm not going to, out of respect for my viewers.
oh. But yeah, like we got tiny little kernels of good writing in this book.
Honestly,
Yeah.
this book had way more little kernels of interesting writing and interesting ideas than the first one
Then
did.
the
Yeah.
first one, yeah, mountains at times more, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, look at what we were look at what we're comparing it to. It was the first book was just basically barely nothing
Yeah.
Yeah.
and or confusing.
It's even worse now because in retrospect, it makes even less sense. It's like there is just no rhyme or reason to why things are happening or what is happening whatsoever with that. It's really
Yeah, I guess it's
exactly.
more enjoyable to read, but it's just in retrospect with the rest of the series. It's sort of like the kind of thing that's like, okay, to relate this back to Ruby again. It's like seeing volume 3 and, having a bit more fun with it overall, but you realize given that this is like the crescendo of the Beacon arc, you think, oh shit, there are so many things they could have built up much better in order to make this work as a whole.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Kaiju Gon, it's not a dumb name for a horse, Chase. His name is Sun Chaser. They just call him Chase for short. It's Sun
Yeah,
Chaser's
it's a
fine
nickname.
name. Yeah. He's actually the Sun Chaser. He gets a full title name.
The Sun Chaser.
Yeah. The Sun Chaser. And like the only thing that's weird about that is that nobody else has a name like that. Everybody else's name is like
A traditional horse
Atlanta,
name.
Tobiano, Cinna, Beecher, and then the Sun Chaser. It's like a little bit weird compared
honestly,
to all the others.
It's always weird when everyone says like the Batman instead of just Batman.
Yeah.
It seems weird to me. No one else really? You have heard of the Chase? Have you heard of Chase and Genlock? Oh fuck! I did not. Oh fuck! Don't.
Oh
Chase-
god, I forgot.
Genlock Chase is not a horse.
I don't know. If I took his performance between him and a horse, I might take the horse's performance. Look, I thought he was okay in Black Panther, but Michael B. Jordan did not impress me on his second outing that I got to see him in. It really.
I would
Oh,
rather I would take that performance over his freaking fan four stick performance.
Oof.
I just don't trust Fan Four Stick at all.
True, very true, understandable.
They turned Doom into an edgy online dude. That was a choice.
Yeah, they turned him into Elliot Rodger, and I did not like that at all.
Like they took all the money to
Gross.
throw it at David Tennant. No, they took all the money to throw it George. They took it at everyone. Honestly, everyone in that. It's a star-studded fucking cast.
For no fucking reason too.
Wait,
Literally,
Like
all
that is the reason why I had that little tangent about like the podcast and the star guests and all that, because Ruby and Rooster Teeth in general, and because it extended to Genlock, they were going beyond their means. They didn't have the budget to hire expensive voice actors or celebrity actors, but they did it anyway because they wanted the clout.
Yeah, like I said, they made Ruby at the height of freaking anime abridging content on YouTube, and they just did not turn away from that.
That's the thing. They
just
focused.
turned away from that.
What really gets me is that at the very least, Ruby stuck within its realm of let's hire voice actors, like famous voice actors. They didn't target like mainstream live action actors who weren't necessarily familiar with voice acting all that much. Now, I'm not going to say they're bad voice actors, but that's not their appeal. Their draw isn't strictly just their voice acting. It is their physical acting as well. It is their facial expressions. It's why you rarely see that crossover, and when they do, it's appreciable that people want to do that, but like it doesn't have the same draw. If I get mad at, like, the more I think about it, I really think Genlock was the major nail in the coffin for Rooster Teeth. It was over budget. It obviously tanked Ruby Volume 5. It tanked Nomad of Nowhere, one of their other things. If they had gone with a smaller budget, with lesser note, with basically, instead of going for people who were famous in the larger world, maybe you still get Michael B. Jordan, fine. But everyone else is just famous voice actors.
Yeah.
Very specifically voice actors, people that were like big names in that industry. It might have done better. It might have done better.
the only two that do count in that realm was Monica Rial and David Tennant, and that's about it.
No. Also, the Japanese voice actor who was the voice, I think, of Spike.
Oh,
Spiegel.
right, yeah, him. Yeah. I see.
I still
completely
think
wasted.
I still think that they should have kept that. Well, they did, because they didn't do it in the first place, but they should have gone and looked for up and coming.
Yes,
voice
that's what
actors,
Kaiser
people
was
who
saying.
Wanted,
Yes.
Yeah, who wanted to get into the industry. Sorry, I got distracted because Kelsey had messaged me, and I was...
no,
that's absolutely fair. I was
but
going
you're
in a tangent of
absolutely-
like, even if I were to not go as far as I would want or Kaiser would want with them, like instead of them going to like well-knowns even within the industry and just going with a lot of the up-and-coming voice actors and abridging. Even if they didn't do that, keeping to just voice acting in general, which is a much lower budget, all things considered, might have saved them a lot of heartache and effort, especially because Ruby was doing... I won't say Ruby was doing really well on that front. They were starting to get really bad with a lot of the guest voice actors they didn't need. Like, the actress for Vernal is in a bunch of shit that she didn't need to be Vernal. You could have literally gotten anyone in the office to play her. It's like there's just a lot there that contributed to Rooster Teeth imploding. I think Genlock was an unnecessary expenditure. This is actually kind of a wise point of Pirate Gaming, or Pirate Software, I think is his name. He goes on, does a lot of streams every single week, and one of his big points was, here's what you do when you have a major success. You keep doing the small games. Like, he talked about game development, like you keep doing the small games. And then maybe down the line, you'd be like, okay, we've made enough small games and we had one big hit before. Now we can try for another bigger game. And then you get a bigger game. Maybe it's a success, maybe it's a failure, but you have that safety net of all that built up reputation and all that built up, finances. And so if it succeeds or fails,
And
you can
goodwill
always
with the fans.
always go down to the small game. And basically, you keep doing the small games to build up your repertoire and your financial safety net, and you do occasionally you jump into a bigger game, and then maybe a bigger game, and then maybe a bigger game. Maybe your bigger games keep increasing in size, but you always fall back after that to the smaller games to make sure you have a steady bedrock. And Rooster Teeth really should have focused in hard on Ruby. I think Rooster Teeth really had something they could have just stayed in and capitalized on. And I'm wondering if they greenlit Genlock because I didn't feel confident with Ruby after Monty died and seeing the reactions to Volume 4.
I thought that Genlock was like something that wasn't really...
Gray wanted.
Well, yeah, there's also that element to consider, but like it still had to be greenlit on the executive level as opposed to just the managerial one. So I'm wondering like where their minds were at with that. I think it's either that or they were expanding just too greedily. They split off too much. Maybe Gray pushed really hard and said we can do this, and then he had to embezzle funds and ultimately tanked 2 of their properties for an entire season. It's like.
And split their entire animation staff.
Yeah, it's like just everything about that, I think, was like the death knell for Rooster Teeth. I think ultimately they could have, if they had just not done Genlock and they focused on everything else they wanted to do, it would have been a much better situation. Rooster Teeth would have actually survived a lot longer.
It's weird because it's like, well, you have this one show, and then you have this other show that's not as intensive in terms of animation. So on the off season that you're not doing like your main show, Ruby, and you're waiting for the writers to get their shit done, work on the other show in the meanwhile. How hard is that?
Yeah, I thought that was the point of freaking Ruby Chibi, but I guess not. And again, they keep wanting to push out, just pump out freaking new Ruby seasons every single fucking year.
Instead of taking
just made
the time.
Shit worse.
Yeah, and I really do think they should have. The internal celebrity culture was just too toxic. They really needed cut that shit out and let people that were in the lower ranks really rise up, because that's the appeal of the company. You really build this community. Like, the idea wasn't you have a bunch of, it wasn't just you have this like network of oligarchs at the very top. The idea was everyone had the chance to really stand out and come into their own if they wanted to take that opportunity. Or you could just be quiet and sit down and do your work and be really good at that and just chime in occasionally. Like, you could do that behind the scenes shit. Like, there's so many different reasons. We could do a whole stream on
it seems like
Teeth again.
Yeah, it seems like one of the main problems that Rooster Teeth suffered from was nepotism.
Yep.
10 billion%, yeah.
But
anyway, horse book.
Yeah.
Bad horse book, bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but had a good time with this.
Is definitely as bad as I expected.
I'm glad that you guys are having fun with this book.
I wish we could get more people to watch it. Like, I know we have like we're at 20 viewers right now, something like that. 21.
Yeah.
Kaiser's dead. That's great. Giant Twi's back. Yay.
Yay.
But no, like I wish that we got more people interested in this, because I think this is like fascinatingly funny stuff. Like, there's actually so much genuine good shit in here. After we get through these books, can we get started on listening to Twilight's rewrite? That might be an option. I mean, we've tossed around doing a live rewrite stream of some sort.
Especially because I haven't really had the chance to do much in terms of this rewrite, because I've been focusing so much on Cadence of Magic. And, well, like, when I'm not trying to do my videos, which I'm still kind of procrastinating a little bit on my Digimon video, and I should get that started. But then I also have to do more writing for Cadence of Magic. And then doing this, like, maybe doing these streams, like, once we're done with the actual series, it could be my excuse to work for a bit on the basic plot of, like, my rewrite of Unicorns of Balinor.
Is it gonna pop up? Oh,
yeah, sorry about that.
There we go.
I had to screw me open one last time before it was over.
Yep. All right. Well, either of you have anything you want to announce?
Well, on my end, I know there are, not a whole lot of my regulars are here at this time, but for those of you that are, thank you guys so much for the success of the past couple of things I have on my channel, both the response to Michaela Orchard and the addendum to the Amber video. Those are doing really, really, really well. I haven't checked the views of the Michaela video recently just yet, but I'm going to in just a moment. And as well as my my live reaction to Juna King's video on Lily, which you can see the VODs of on my channel right now. And I'm going to be doing a gaming stream. My very first one, aside from the OBS test stream. That was just a whole other thing. But anyways, I'm going to be doing a gaming stream where I'm going to play some indie games like Iconoclast and Signalis for probably the foreseeable future. And I'm going to be doing it this Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to catch me there, definitely do so. I'm going to actually put that in my community post soon.
All right. You go.
I tried to get back into regular gaming streams on Saturday, but my my video capture card just died randomly, and so I can't do capture card streaming with my Switch for the foreseeable future until whenever the replacement comes, which might not be for half a month. So until then, I'm gonna probably be doing streaming from like a ROM or maybe through Steam or however, whatever it's going to be. Like, whether or not I decide that I want to play some Kingdom Hearts or I want to play like Harvest Moon or whatever, depending. That's all I got going for now until I get my video started. I think I'm going to do a watch party in my Discord for Digimon at some point very soon. So if any of you wanted to watch Digimon in English and Japanese, you can come onto my Discord through my Patreon or whatever.
Oh, what? Oh, that actually reminds me. One last thing. Yeah, I guess at some point in the future, I'm also planning on doing live reactions to like different shows and anime and movies and stuff. So definitely post on in the comments what things you would like me to actually cover there.
Alrighty. As usual, thanks to everyone that came out and watched my Hero video, which is still live, and it's tapered off now, but I do recommend it if you're at all interested in the critical discourse. I might start working. I probably should have started working a while ago on my own like critical dissection of the My Hero series, and just give my own thoughts on what it could have done better, where I think it really hit home. But I'll play around with that. I have a lot of things on my plate, such as working on Sentinels. Every single Friday here on the channel at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have Bad Fan Fiction Night, where I and Twilight host. This weekend, we're looking to do something spoopy, not our regular Sith Resurgence coverage, but we've got to figure out what that exactly is going to be. There's a lot of interesting things we could do there. I'm also interested in looking to do a gaming stream or two this year for Halloween. I'm not entirely sure if it will be on Halloween or not, or what game exactly I'll be playing, but I'll try and schedule that around. I've been kind of all over the place this month. So, yeah. Remember, support me on Patreon. You get to join the Tundra. You get to join us for Bad Fan Fiction Night and also interact with all of us here. And then, if you want, there's merch for Celtic Phoenix Productions down in the description. Other than that, Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll catch you all on the flip side.